Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hood Report, episode 8. Sitting with me today, as usual, we have Leif from Chutch. Leif, how you doing?
Good morning, Donovan.
Glad to have you back in here today. Also joining us today, we have Cam Weeg from Board Over Brains. Cam, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm stoked being here with you guys, and happy you guys started this, and it's really fun for our community to listen to a local podcast that has people from our area that are just people with so much passion and have given a lot to snowboarding or skating or whatever passion they got. You know, it's pretty cool. Our area is kind of loaded with people that just, I don't know, got a lot of passion for projects and
Hell yeah,
shit like that.
It's a good quilt of a community. Well, thank you for the kind words. We're happy to have you in here.
Yeah.
You're an obvious person that we wanted to have on, so yeah, happy to check it off today and have you join us to catch up. It's been a second since we've been in here. Snow's been good. Winter's been firing. We've been boarding.
What's it been, 4 weeks or so since the Uncle Andy?
Yeah, I think it's been like 4 weeks, so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I know we said we were going to do bi-weekly, and we're trying to commit to that.
You kind of knew it was going to happen once the snowboard season hit.
It's inevitable.
It's been for good causes. If we look a little distracted, it's because we got some Board Over Brains edits playing on the TV behind the camera, so can't help but look up there and watch it as we're recording. Yeah, episode 8. Maybe we'll start with some hood news and just some checking in and filling in on what we've been doing since the last time we sat down in here. How's the boarding been? We'll do a boarding check-in. Leif, I know you've been after it.
Yeah.
We'll go around the horn.
Well, yeah, we went.
You're probably riding more than anyone else because you're like working up the toe right now.
Since the last podcast, we went to Mission Ridge, which was sick.
Yep.
You've been there, right, Cam?
Yeah. You know what? Every time I go there, the setup is like so fucking good.
It's insane.
It's so good. Like, well, it rides good, and stuff's set up so you can actually ride it. Like, the approach on every feature is like good, and it's always like a private session every time you go to Mission.
That's what I was gonna say. It's crazy how good it is because you get there and like we're there all day and I didn't see anyone else come and ride the tow really. It felt like we were at a private camp with our friends. It was a beautiful sunny day.
Well, when it's like that, you know, you can like throw some music in and like really focus on like how you're doing your tricks or.
They brought the skilled up there barbecuing.
Would you guys rather it be that way or have a lot of people there? Because I think I'd rather have a lot of people there, to be honest. I don't know.
It depends on the crew. Like, the crew we had was pretty all-time.
Yeah.
And if, like, the mission is to go in there and, like, try and, like, get clips together and stuff.
Yeah, no one was in our way or anything.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's just, like, yeah, it is a little harder to, like, get going.
I kind of like the ski bowl vibes where there's more people.
Yeah, both are awesome.
But, yeah, both are awesome.
And, you know, I think there's a lot to be said with, like, a group effect when there's, like, a lot of people somewhere. Mm-hmm. And the vibes are good and, like, everybody's stoked and kind of, like, hooting and hollering for each other when we're trying to learn a new trick or something like that. Like, that energy is like so infectious in snowboarding, and it's like part of the reason I ever even like got into filming.
Fuck yeah. I'll tell you what I'm not down with: ice. Like icy conditions.
Oh yeah.
Like
it was a little bricked out.
It was pretty brick. It was like we went during the pocket of weather when it was just like super dry.
The first day was better.
Yeah, I missed the first day. We got there the second day.
How was it?
It was just brick.
How was it when you were there, Cam? Was it pretty brick? It seems kind of brick there because I think it's Eastern Washington, a little cold.
You know, I've been there a couple times. My first time I went there to ride, I went with Corey Caswell and Jagger Heckman, and we went up for like this Northwest board demo thing, and it was so much fun. It was like right after a Snowboy event, like the next couple days after a Snowboy event, which was like Whales and Tails or something. I can't remember the name of the event. Or Breach. It might have been Breach or something. And it was just all these like cool like snow features. And then the park was also insane. And at the time, like a bunch of the Wild Instinct dudes were like building the park or like had input on like what they were building, and the setups were just really insane. And we got stuck there actually for a whole week because we took Jagger's stepmom's Volkswagen Beetle, and it was like a 2002 like yellow Beetle, and we just like packed all of our gear in it And
it's a tiny ass car to drive that far in.
Yeah, exactly. We're like going through all these mountains and shit. And like we finally get to Wenatchee, and it was so funny because the car broke down. Like we had a really good trip and we went to go leave. And right as we got to like the mountains, like right on the outside of town, the car overheated and like started smoking. And so we like called a tow truck.
Oh, damn.
Brought it back.
You guys got lucky because there's like nothing between there and like, you know, there's some pockets on that drive where there's just nothing for miles.
And what's funny is like we like all kind of sent it on this trip with no money. And we were like, okay, like we got free snowboarding. We get to stay at like the Wild Instinct house. Like we'll pull our money together for gas and we'll eat like frozen pizza and fucking let's go do this shit and have fun. And so we go there, but then like the Wild Instinct guys all head out to the Midwest to go film, and we're stuck there because the car is like in the shop getting repaired, and all we're doing is like going snowboarding every day, which Matt Robb was driving us to the hill every day. And I love you, Matt, but
yeah,
like
shout out to Matt Robb.
you're a great dude, and thanks for the rides up the hill. But yeah, we would drink Mad Dog 2020 every day and eat frozen pizza, and like that's what we were.
Were you guys able to go
on.
snowboard still?
Yeah, we had the hookup on the passes still, so we were still going up and boarding, and it was just a really funny like week of like good coincidences and bad ones, I guess.
Well, that's funny. Just being young.
How many days did you end up riding then? Like,
We rode 5 days.
Okay.
And we were only supposed to like be there for like 2 days and like
Yeah.
come home.
yeah.
And we were all ready to come home too.
Yeah, right.
And then like the next few days it was like overcast, super cold, no snow. It like just got icier
It got
and
firm
icier.
conditions, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a similar incident. I got stuck on a trip to Bachelor when I was like 19 and ended up being out there for like 2 weeks and made some good connections because of it. So
That's
it ends
cool.
up working out.
Yeah, at least you didn't get stuck in like
Sending it on a
Wamak or
budget.
whatever is that little
Yeah,
town,
just
Wamak
random small
or
stuff.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, Wamak.
like on the way, like halfway.
Wamak is that's out near Ty Valley, right?
Is it? Maybe
I
that's-
don't
maybe-
know.
I don't
One of
know.
them small little zones. But anyways, yeah, we went to Mission Ridge. It was sick. Shout out to Mission Ridge.
Yeah.
Everyone who does the parks out there, you guys are
Killing it.
You guys are onto something.
That was your first
check out
time
Mission
there,
Ridge.
Donovan?
First time.
Yeah, same
Not
for
my
me.
last time. We're definitely going back.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll try to get the same crew out for another trip or two before the end of the season. I think we're chatting about Mount Spokane next. So
Yeah.
Mount
Hell yeah.
Spokane, if you listen, you got some ticket hookups, hit
Oh.
us up. You know.
Right? You been to Mount
Dude.
Spokane, Cam?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
That's
Okay.
a good spot.
Yeah, we
That's
got
a good
family
spot.
out there, so we're gonna.
They got
we're
a
gonna stay
handle
there.
toad there now too. On that top park, I guess.
Philip Schultz. I'm pretty sure that's his last name. He runs the Spokane parks, and he's been doing it for a long time. And it's pretty cool. They have this old school bus at the top of their park. That's like, when you show up to Spokane parks and like, I don't know. I got to go there with Jake Rose, and he's kind of like a local legend up there.
Yeah, he is, huh?
Like he put his time in and he worked hard, and he's like got some sick clips. He like hit this big, it's like this radio flyer wagon downtown, and he knocked all of his teeth out. He launched over the front of it and went to go board slide this like
I know what you're
chrome
talking about.
aluminum
Yeah.
slide, and he knocked all of his teeth out. And it's like the sickest clip
That's
ever.
crazy.
Did you film that
thing is a
clip?
I did not film that clip.
I've seen it, but it's out
but
there, right?
It's out there.
Yeah,
it is
okay.
so good, and like it's just 100% snowboarding, you know.
Damn.
And like the full send like mode of like sometimes it feels like they're fucking just like stuntmen doing some like crazy shit.
Yeah, there's some
Some
stunt,
like high wire moves, you know.
There's definitely like some stunt boarding that goes down in the streets.
I love it.
I don't know. I'm happy that's kind of going out of style a little bit.
Yeah. I like the big sends, and like when you're seeing your homie do shit like that, it's like that's what we were watching like Andrew Reynolds do, and like Jamie Thomas, and like
Yeah.
all these sick ass skaters like send it, or even big snowboarders, you know, like doing big shit.
That's out there. You can go get your Jocelyn
You
on.
film
if you want.
any street clips with Jake Rose in Spokane, or you went there just to
never.
hit the mountain?
I just go to hang out with Jake Rose.
Okay, yeah.
Like he's the shit, and he's like one of my friends I've made in snowboarding.
Yeah, you guys have filmed a lot in the summer.
We have, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually met Jake because when I was like kind of sharpening my teeth with filming up there, my first setup I had purchased was like the worst setup I've ever owned for filming in my life. But like I was out there working it every day and like having fun, like trying to like get good angles and shoot good clips. And I got all these really good clips of Jake Rose, and I didn't know Jake at the time, but he's wearing like all this I&I gear, and he was like riding for Smoking, and I could just tell I was like he wasn't riding for Smoking yet. He was on a Jamie Lynn pro model lib, and he was doing all these fucked up tricks. And
this was in Portland, or
this was in up at Hood in the summer.
Oh, okay.
And so later on that day, I was going through all the clips, and I like made a whole file of this dude, and I just labeled it like Tan Hoodie. And then later on, at the time, I was living above Cobra Dogs that summer in the Blue Roofs, and he was walking in front of the house, and I just yelled at him, like, "Yo, I got a bunch of sick clips of you." And he's like, "Word." I was like, "Come up here." And he's like, "All right." So he came up there, and then like at the time, Charlie Mayforth was over and Jeff DeForge, or Jay DeForge. And so I don't know, it was like a little friendship was formed right there. And then like we all filmed that summer together, and it was really fun. Jake Rose, he's a good dude.
Fuck yeah. Well, we'll have to pour into the lineage of your filming time here. Got a lot of questions from some listeners about some board over brains edits. Cool. and videos.
Fun.
But yeah, we had some good trips there.
Yeah, and since the Mission Ridge trip, mostly just been boarding at Ski Bowl. We opened mid-January or so, the Rope Tow.
Yep,
we had Multipore open around Christmas, but
Rope Tow's firing.
Rope Tow.
It's open. We got $35 lift ticket going on there, so coming in clutch. Thank you everyone at Ski Bowl for organizing and making that happen, because as you know, if you've been listening, I missed the ball this year and didn't purchase my season pass in time from Ski Bowl, so now I got a way of getting out there. And you know, when the powder's firing and it's a good Upper Bowl day, I'm happy to splurge and get a ticket for Upper Bowl. So yeah, good times at the Tow. We had the Wild Mike's Rail Jam go down. Kind of bouncing around Hood news time-wise, but how was
lucky
that?
enough to judge it, actually.
Oh, really? You were one of the judges?
Yeah.
We had there were some illustrious judges. There's yourself. Scott Steves was there judging.
Scott Stevens was judging.
Who else was there?
Wind, who runs the Wind Sports up in Welch's, was judging the ski side.
Okay.
And then I can't remember.
Wasn't Brian a judge too? Brian Walter?
Brian.
Ski Bowl Park Crew?
I call him Mouse Cop, Brian.
Yeah.
I call him Brian Mouse Cop. He's a good dude. He was a judge, and him and I kind of like, and Scott kind of divided and conquered on the course as far as
he works at camp now. I'm whiffing on his name right now. Oh my goodness.
Bobby Meeks.
Bobby Meeks, yeah. Wasn't Bobby Meeks up there?
Did some emceeing for the event, which was really cool. Okay. And
that's pretty sick. I don't know. I hope that the people who are riding there realize cool. Like the group that was watching and judging.
One of my favorite Spotify playlists to listen to is the Robot Food playlist. And if none of you know, Robot Food is they made really fun snowboard videos, and they had really good soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And they put out their whole sound, like all their video songs, onto Spotify. And every time a Bobby Meeks song comes on, I like that guy's just has had good choice in music for his video parts. So he's always stuck out to me.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him living on Hood nowadays.
It's super cool.
Pretty rad.
Yeah, how was judging the men's finals? It was like there was 200 people or something going at once.
So I wanted to go to the event, but I wasn't able to get up there. I was working and had a
It was a
long.
Ski Bowl Classic Rail Jam.
Yeah,
but the finals was crazy.
We should name who won and how'd it go.
Yeah, Cam.
All right,
Cam probably knows who won.
Oh yeah, so when I went into the event, and like weeks before the event even happened, Andy Glader, he's like a good friend of mine, and I kept telling him, like, because I'd gotten asked to judge the event and help, and so I was helping, and I told Andy, I was like, dude, I'm not playing bias, like I don't care if you're in the jam, like you're not winning, blah blah blah, But you know what? Like Andy showed up.
Wait, was he trying to say like, hey, make sure I win?
No.
Oh.
I was telling him, like, because we're really close buddies.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say, it sound like him.
We've done construction together and like worked all over the country and like had to depend on each other for like life-saving situations and shit. And I just was giving him a hard time, being like, don't think like because you're my buddy, like I'm just gonna like you're gonna win,
Yeah.
Because I know Andy is like just a fucking animal when it comes to like when there's a crowd and like a bunch of people around, like in an event like that, Andy like will feed off that energy and like
throw down
some like cool shit, And so what I did is I just picked out a couple features that I knew were like the most difficult features, and the ones that like were trickable, and like where people were actually gonna like do some moves. And between Scott, like where I stood, and Scott and Brian, we had the course like divided pretty well, and we camped together at the end, and we all like were like kind of like undeniably like Andy is the winner of the event. Like all three of us were like, holy crap, like that guy really just like. And it was funny too. It'd be like the riders meeting.
Shout out to Andy.
Yeah, shout out to Andy Glader. It'd be like the riders meeting, and he's still just like switch back flipping the down flat down, or doing some like
just never stopped riding.
Never stopped riding.
Right. When everyone was at the top, he was the only person riding for 10 minutes or something. But that's a good show. That's a good show to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
No one complained.
No, nobody complained, and then the guy that got second, Levi, he was incredible. He's a really good snowboarder, fun to watch, good style.
Is that Levi the Lion on Insta?
Yep.
Lex is trying to recruit him onto the Hood Crew team for the DGS King of the Mountain, which
cool.
we'll get into here. So
cool.
I'm glad to know he's out there putting on a good show.
That guy is insane. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know each other personally.
Oh, really?
Yet.
Okay.
We might.
I met him this summer.
I don't think so. But
I towed his truck like 4 days ago.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it was funny. I went up to Govey, and it was like a blizzard out, and he called for a tow, and I show up, and he's like, "What's up, man?" and blah blah blah, and my name's Levi. I was like, "Oh, you snowboard?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You were in the ski bowl rail jam the other day, Wild Mike's?" He's like, "Yeah."
Like, this one's on the house.
I was like, "Hell yeah, man!" I was like, "That's cool." I was like, "I judged that event," and I was like, "You're fun to watch snowboard," and he was nice to talk to, down to earth dude.
Sick.
Good person in the community.
Fuck yeah.
Connor got third, I think.
Connor got third. What about the ladies?
Carroll got third, and I mean, Connor was going through and just like obviously linking trick after trick after trick, and
that's a pretty stacked top 3 mil podium right there.
Well, and like what set the Andy apart and Levi was they just did some more 270s and like held the 270 and like either pulled it back or.
It wasn't necessarily everyone was doing the same
everyone
tricks.
was doing the
like
similar tricks.
Style actually won out. Kind of thing.
Style and then technicality of like difficulty of trick.
Fuck yeah.
And it was cool. You could tell who was riding switch or regular, and since we were divided and conquered, we were able to like actually pay attention, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did they do the? I remember they used to do like you'd have to have like a band on like your lead leg or something like that. So
yeah. I remember that.
Sometimes they'd get
raise your hand or something.
Yeah,
that was the thing about the.
Oh, slope style.
That was the cool thing about the leg bag back in the day. The Air Blaster leg bag.
I don't think there's any cool thing about the Air Blaster.
You don't think there's any?
You don't like the leg bag?
No, not.
I never was able to pull it off, but I thought it was pretty sick.
Yeah. I wore one for.
It'd be funny if they brought it back nowadays with like the suit just hella baggy pants.
I think Jeff Holtz still reps. Jeff Holtz might still rep it.
What do you have in there? You got your weed in there. You got your screwdriver. Like what's in the leg bag?
No, what you put in a leg bag is like.
Oh yeah.
You got to have Zinca in your leg bag.
What the fuck is Zinca?
Zinca is what you paint your nose with. It's like pink or
like
blue.
sunscreen.
Okay. That like has to be in your leg bag.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Maybe like one of those like small little troll toys with like wild hair,
Mandatory.
And then
just for good looks or good luck.
Maybe like a cool coin that you like that it's like also good luck.
Okay. Because it's got to jangle. If you're
bar?
gonna have the bag down there, it has to be a proper ankle weight. Like you have to have enough shit in there that it jangles around while you're doing stuff, and it like maybe on your spins it's a good counterweight too, and like it gives you that hatchet toss on a spin.
And like you could put wax in there, like rub-on wax, the little canisters.
Yeah.
And then the Tech or the Dakine freaking T-tool.
Okay.
I still have mine. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and
there must be a chance of getting stabbed in the leg bag.
So
mandatory.
sick.
Did you ever have a high back bag?
I've had those.
Well, I'm picturing. Are they different?
It's like
it's
that's like a
the same
Tech 9 thing.
isn't
It's
it?
like the bag on your high back.
Yeah.
Like I think the brand was called Bakoda. They still make them sometimes.
That's funny.
So the leg bag was on your leg, and then the high back bag was on your high back.
Okay.
Ever rocked either of those?
Dude.
No.
Oof.
I did. I am guilty of getting into the fanny pack a little bit for your spliff
Fanny
kit
pack,
and keys.
oh, nice.
But it had some functionality because it was like when you're traveling on a skate trip.
Yeah.
And like, especially if you have a passport scenario and you want to keep it close and like you're really paranoid and you don't want to get
That's smart,
pickpocketed,
yeah.
foreign country, like, you know, it's right
That
there
is
in your
smart.
armpit and it doesn't like nothing in your pockets when you're skating. But
And,
I
like-
don't know. I'm almost like I'm too old to have any of that stuff going on.
I think
you know?
I think the high back backpack is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like
I've had
the
that before.
Gremlins.
And this is
dude.
one
Yeah,
man's
the Gremlins,
opinion. Sorry,
yeah.
Air Blaster. You guys are making cool stuff. Thanks for hooking everyone else up.
I think
at
the leg
toe.
bag is sick, but I could never pull it off.
And-
it would,
off.
Well, the leg
Make my
bag was
pants.
like a thing too. Like the
You
whole
gotta
reason
have really
I found.
skinny,
yeah, you need
pants.
tight pants, otherwise your pants like
Yeah,
billowed
you
at
gotta
your
have the
thighs.
Cobra, the hood, and the
Well,
Cobra
no.
hood going on.
Actually, if you had baggy pants, you would rock it around the bottom of your foot in the binding,
Oh, okay.
because that's what Tim Eddy did.
Okay.
And and then people like TJ Schneider and Travis Parker was the main reason why I ever bought a leg bag. If you ever watched the snowboard movie December,
I have it on DVD.
okay, him and Andrew Crawford literally just go around Europe farting into the camera, like into the microphone, and just like they're not even riding on parks or like nothing, and they're just going around like messing with like random locals like at ski resorts and just being really silly. And you can almost watch December and then watch like Craig Kelly like Board the World. Have you guys ever seen Board the World?
I don't think I've seen that one.
So like one of Craig Kelly's movies, it's like the same vibe as like a Craig Kelly movie, and it's just so cool because it's like the most simple aspect of snowboarding. And that was my favorite snowboard video when I was a kid, and it's because they were farting in the camera and just being like the silliest dudes
And just having
Yeah.
fun.
and just having fun. And then you could watch Travis in like a robot food movie and Andrew Crawford, and just they're doing rodeos and 900s
throwing
and
down.
720s, and like they could
Yeah.
do both. Like they could go have fun at like a ski resort, like I said, with no park, no jumps, and just like find good hits and do rope ollies and shit like that. And then they could go to a sick park and also
Also
destroy
hang
it.
I
the
got
best
that
rider.
December DVD at the Friday night features at Timberline.
That's
Which is
awesome.
probably one of the first places I
And
met
did it
you
come
at
in
or
a-
something.
did it come in a
It's got
wooden-
the wooden thing, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's such a cool thing.
That was a good DVD.
Yeah.
They need to bring that back. Friday night features.
Oh, that
Friday
was-
night
Timberline,
highlights. We're kind of skipping around, but one of the in the Board Over Brains lineage, when I was prying into your YouTube, one of the first videos you have posted is the Air Blaster board games. So
Yeah.
thank you, Air Blaster. Sorry
Yeah.
for hating on your leg bags. You guys do
The
kick-ass stuff.
style's not for
board
the leg
games.
bag style's not for everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not for everybody.
yeah, there we go. Fair enough.
I've just, you're
But the board
talking to an
games is
Air Blaster
sick.
kid who like, Air Blaster was started here in Portland, Oregon, and I went to Sandy High School, and it's just like, it was such like an area thing to where when it was coming up, it was like so awesome. And back in the day, we were like, fuck Burton and blah 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 and all this shit, you know. And nowadays, I'm like, I appreciate the brand and like what Jake's done for snowboarding and all that, you know, because you like learn through life that there's more than just your like little local area, you know. But like Air Blaster's done so much for this community in the sense of like inspiration for like kids, and I've just seen like the coolest shit go down up on that hill before that brain was huge. The whole team would go up there and ride.
Yep.
And like there was this down log at the bottom of Mount Hood Express for like ever, and it was like in the flat bottoms. And one night, it was like one of the first nights I ever like started basically just tagging along and like following these dudes around because they were fucking sending it. And they'd like do huge backflips off of like wind lips, and just like they'd eat shit and just like laugh about it and like have the best attitudes like towards snowboarding. And I was like, holy shit, like these guys fucking rule.
that was the Air Blaster crew.
It was the whole Air Blaster crew.
Yeah, well, the I was gonna say the event that they put on the board games with the mini pipe was sick,
Dude.
Because and the point I want to get to is like we need a mini pipe again in front of the day lodge at Timberline. It is
Yeah.
the perfect
Yeah.
spot for it. And,
That
like,
used to be
if
a
everyone
park.
could get out there and like hand dig, that'd be so sick.
They used to put rails and stuff out there.
Yeah.
In preseason and stuff.
Oh,
and
they would for preseason.
Yeah, and you could just come hike it back in the
Okay.
day. Yeah, it was
we need
it was
to
crazy.
get back on that. I know Bachelor's doing it. But
Yeah, Batchy's doing it.
Anyways, let's rip through the rest of the hood news here. I know we do have kind of short time before the shop opens today. What else happened? Oh, it snowed in Portland. That was sick. We got our annual Portland snowstorm.
Yeah, I think it was like two or 3 days, maybe.
Yeah,
of Jibbable.
I got 1 day out there. I think that.
Yeah, I think I only got 1 day.
There's probably 3 days.
Yeah.
It is funny. I looked back and like I got a time hop on the photos on my phone, and it was the same exact week 2 years ago that we were hitting the same spot.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So kind of like
Yeah, it was.
kind of rock.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Met up with some people. Got a little session on Tabor, which is always good.
So many spots on Tabor.
There's spots on Tabor playing above us right now on the.
Donovan handled the big scary down bar.
It's a mellow thing. Leif and I went to this down bar. Leif wanted to board slide it, and I ended up board sliding. I wanted to do other stuff.
I didn't
there
even
too.
get close.
We gotta go back. It was what happened.
I don't
is
think
we
I
used to have
care.
a good drop in.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I think.
The drop in kind of skunked us.
I might go to an easier spot.
The
You know,
the rail wasn't
every
even
s-
hard. It was just like getting speed to
But that's
get
just
to the
street
rail
snow.
was
That's
hard.
street snowboarding.
Yeah, it is. There's always something unseen that's kind of
Every street
the
spot,
thorn in your paw during
like
the
the
session.
whole like thing that I focus on anytime I show up to a street spot is like either like if someone's taken on like the entrance or like the entry to like the feature or like the approach, you know, I'll go focus on the bottom, but like the landing and the approach is like so important to like
you gotta
build
spend a lot of
correctly.
time.
So much time, and like the better. It's funny. I've like set up spots with people where they just throw like a bunch of slushy, shitty snow on like some concrete, right? And there's like no base to it, and like every time they land, it's just like sloshing out, and they're like, I don't even know why I can land. It's like you're literally landing in like lake wakeboard water shit and like just slushing
washing
out. And it looks cool when you can like stomp something like that to bolts, you know, in like some feet in some like conditions like that.
Yeah.
But when you like set a spot up and like put the time in and set it up really nice, the trick could be done first try.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. Is I'm like whenever you're setting it up, you're always really eager and you want to just like get to it, but it's like you gotta remind yourself that like I want to battle the trick, I don't want to battle the spot. Like,
Yeah.
So let's get it all set up.
Let's just
and
set it
then
up so you can do the trick, you know?
Have you hit
But
any
I wish we
gnarly
had
rails
more
in the
snow in
street?
Portland. We need more
Have
snow.
I
Because this was like the first time that I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and hit this rail, and it was a lot different approach than being the filmer. So let me tell you,
my first street spot I ever hit.
I've hit street spots before, but I'd never
Okay.
hit like a big rail. It's probably
Okay.
20 stair.
Okay. I hit one when I was 16. The Bend Courthouse rail.
Okay.
So
I don't think
if
I know it.
You can drop in from the stairs.
That one's like a double barrel rail, isn't it? Or
No,
it's like
it's single.
Okay.
And what's funny is like I went back to that spot later, you know, in my like snowboard life, and like it's so small. I think it's like a 12 stair or some shit, or like a 14.
That's what I
stair.
need.
Right. And so
just a hop on, hop off scenario.
yeah, and at the time though, this is the funny part. I couldn't ollie from the side on a rail. Like I couldn't. Not until Jay DeForge and Charlie Mayforth came out here and taught me how to like properly lock
Street
on
style,
Yeah, street
ollie,
style,
yeah.
hop on, yeah.
ollie
Yeah.
on like front side or back side.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know how to do that, and so my first street rail I ever hit was the Bend Courthouse rail, and I ollied over the front of it. And I
yeah.
built
Suicide, right? Isn't that what it's called?
I built
when
the
you ollie to
lip.
the front?
I built a lip so like I could basically kind of like wally off the front of it a
Oh,
little.
Yeah.
ollie.
And so I kind of like it was
That's how
kind of
Morgan started out hitting rails, and it's
was-
terrifying to
it
watch.
is.
Yeah, it's way harder, but
It is. And you know, I kept
down
getting
now.
lucky and lucky and lucky, and then I laced it one time, and I like thought I was like king shit, you know. I was like, holy fuck, you know, like that was so dope. And I built no landing, like it was onto like concrete, like thin ice.
Yeah, didn't even
shit.
think that far.
No, and like you think at 16, like I need to snowboard on this because the pros like they don't bitch, and like they're gonna hit this too. So like I need to be on this level. And at 16 years old,
You don't realize
you don't
that
know
they're-
what the fuck
they're
like,
shoveling landings.
Yeah, like they're like building a spot so like they can actually like get a trick done.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking you're like I need to earn my stripes, you know, like, and it's just not like that. It is like that, but it's not like that, you know.
Yeah, it's always seems so easy.
So did
when
you
you're
go
watching
back
on
and
screen
hit that
and you're
rail
sitting on a
again
couch.
later? Or you
No.
just went and saw it?
No, it was funny. Yeah, I went back and saw it.
okay.
Like it wasn't snowy. It was like a summertime
Yeah.
like family vacation. We went back, and I like made my parents drive around the block to like, and I like was like, I hit that rail, and they're just like, okay, right on.
Is there
like,
a clip of the? Is there a clip of
that
it or
was
not?
before we had flip phones.
Okay.
And we had actually skipped school, and our friend's parents had a house in Sun River.
Yeah.
And there was like this crazy fucking blizzard, and like none of our parents said we could go, and we all said like, fuck it, and we all like got in these cars and left. Right? They shut down 26 actually, and I think Mount Hood got like fucking 10 feet of snow, and like Bachelor. The whole reason we went is because it was canned food day at Bachelor.
So free pass.
We got a free pass, and it was like the psycho powder day, and
just got stuck there.
Yeah, we got stuck there, and so we hit the courthouse rail the day we were leaving, and then when we were there, we hit a rail at the pool. That was a super small rail. That rail was hilarious. That one was like 8 feet long. So it's tiny.
Yeah, there's not a lot of big rails in.
You gotta start
Bend.
somewhere, right? And when you're a little kid, you think that stuff's pretty gnarly too.
And when you set it up,
yeah,
and like because, like I said, I couldn't even ollie on from the side. You know, that one too, I ollied over the front of it.
Yeah, and when you're first learning like how to get out in the streets, you're
Doesn't
also
ma-
like
it
you're
doesn't
like
matter.
you're trying to set up super flat rails too because it seems less intimidating than like steep stuff.
handicap rails.
Yeah,
I
will commend you because you got your redemption. You went back to the rope tow with a vengeance and stepped to the
I got a decent
step to the quad kink there. And
That was a lot less scary than the cold-hearted
Dude,
streets.
Yeah.
So he got a
warm,
solid
fuzzy
board
rope
slide
toe.
through the quad kink thing.
That
Got
thing
board
feels
slide,
good to
switch
board
over to
slide.
front board, which is way harder than
It
the
is.
actual rail we were trying to hit in the streets. It's just the scenario was fucked.
I think that street rail was way harder.
Yeah, and also on the quad kink, we got Connor Carroll going. What he went cab 2 on,
And
front
then-
board Pretz 2 out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
freaking insane.
He's so good at snowboarding.
Is that the gnarliest trick we've seen go down on the?
On the quad kink?
Yeah.
Probably.
It's probably the most tech
The most tech trick I've
tech
seen
trick.
on that.
Some people pressed it. That's pretty impressive too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know Connor's already been like a guest on here and stuff, but as far as a scum of the week for this episode, do you think we have anything
I
better
think
than his
that's.
2
I think
on,
he's a
2
pretty
off?
solid. I think he needs some Hood Report merch, right,
Yeah.
Donovan?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to give him some stuff. So.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
we're gonna play it right now. So hey, Connor.
Congratulations, you are one scum of the week.
How could you not be, man?
And he did that 6 different times or 7 different
Yeah,
times.
that's just in his back pocket now. He just does
if you watch
that.
the video, the last one he did was so perfect, but all of them were
He's
very
precise.
So good.
perfect.
Like, he's so precise, and honestly, like, he's someone in snowboarding, like, locally that, like, I've learned a lot watching him snowboard.
Yeah,
and, like, getting to film him, his approach to a feature or a trick when he's, like, struggling with it. He has a really good attitude and, like, it's just really fun to watch him, like, battle something.
Yeah,
You know?
you learn by
I'm
you
there
can
for
learn
it.
just from watching it.
No, it's been really cool working with him because he works at the Ski Bowl Rope Tow, and he's worked with you there before.
Yeah.
But working with him this winter, he's really a great guy to work with, and he really pushes you as like another boarder. Like he's very positive and
All over
supportive.
pro
So it's
person.
fun to ride and work with him.
When he first started on Park Crew, it was Andy and I and Tanner, and then he was like our dude that him and Griffin were like our youngsters that came on the crew with us.
Right, they were probably 18 or 17
They were 18
or something, right?
I think. Yeah, they were like 18, and it was so funny because like at 18 years old, like you're just full of piss and vinegar. And like if you're like want to go do some shit and like learn a new trick or do some shit like that, they're not picking up a rake or they would work, you know. But like it was really funny. They would ride so much, and I love it because you're only 18 years old one time, and like coming from a person like myself, who really like I tapped into like all of that shit myself too when I was 18, 19. Like I'm gonna fucking snowboard every single day, you know, and I don't want to work. I just want to ride my board. And even though those guys were at work, I would just be like, fucking that move was sick. Like, you know, just encourage it really.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then if
Tell
I
them to
really
keep
needed
pushing
some
even
help,
though, like you would do all the work so that they could ride. Kind
pretty
of a
much
thing,
sometimes,
just to
and
help promote the riding.
yeah, and like I'd be like, and also I'm a nerd about like when I would work parks. Sometimes I wouldn't even ever strap in, and I would just walk around with a rake and just continuously rake lips and keep the rope toe perfect, because then I could just watch crazier shit go down when this, like I said earlier, the approach is like pimp.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
it helps. Well,
no
thank you for
bomb
doing
holes
that.
and weird, like, I don't know. It's fun when the lip's like sick.
Yeah, you're not fighting the spot. Well, it takes people making it happen. So thanks for doing that. And you've kind of always been the dude that's like on the scene making it happen, to kind of jump around. You know, I remember growing up, we grew up out here together in Sandy, and you were always like the dude at the shop. Like you were working at Northern back in the day.
Yeah.
And then have been here.
Being exposed to that at a young age was really lucky, and I would work basically for free. Nate would buy me like Taco Bell or something for the day, or I'd need new boots for snowboarding, which was a big deal because those would be like $300.
Yeah.
Well, I only got paid like $5 an hour, so that would be like quite a bit of work.
When did you start working at Northern Alliance? How old were you?
I was 17.
Okay, so yeah.
And Johnny Paxson was like our premier like rider, like he was like our main dude, and Corey Noble, Andre Cameron, Nick Jacobson, Nick Dirks.
It was a stacked team.
It was crazy, honestly. And Scotty Connerly,
The videos
it was
that
just
they
like-
used to put out were like insane.
he was like the MC at like every event, and would always just kind of hype shit up. And
Did
then-
you ever roll through when Northern Alliance was open?
Yeah, I went actually to the one that's up the road, and
At that location, yeah.
I tried to order actually that Tech 9 jacket that I own, and I don't think they ever ordered it for me, but it was a sick shop. I ended up getting
Yeah,
it somewhere else, I think.
It was funny.
They had
like,
a lot of Tech 9 stuff.
Yeah,
though.
I
We
think
had
they
so
they
much
had some
Tech 9
ties with
stuff.
Tech 9,
yeah, probably with Johnny Paxson, right?
Well, so Johnny, he rode for Sound, which was Mark Frank's company that he
Yep.
was starting.
Yeah.
And Johnny was like coming up super hard, and like had just put a full part out and had Ender and Hard to Earn, which was just being from this area, and seeing a video part like that come out. It was so inspiring, and he had so much style. And it was like, I've watched that video part like fucking 500 times. And to be on that same note, we've had a lot of good snowboarders come out of here. Daryl Mathis
Yep.
went to Canby High School, I'm pretty sure.
Still
and
lives in Portland too.
Still lives in Portland. Nick Dirks grew up right here in Sandy. And he was incredible to watch growing up.
Dylan Thompson, isn't he
Dylan-
from Hood River?
I was gonna say,
area?
so
Yeah.
Dylan Thompson. So there was like this funny period in time where like all these like gangster like Tech 9
Dylan
style
Thompson,
kids,
Jonah Owen, Johnny Paxson.
so they would all hang out,
Those
right?
are all Oregon guys, yeah.
And they'd be like super gangster, and there was like a whole gangster squad, and then there was a whole squad of like alternative kids, which I was a part of that, where we were all
Like
wearing
Nick
like
Dirks and-
tight pants and
uh-huh.
like
Daryl
fucking
G
jean
code and
vet-
E code kind
jean
of a
vests
scenario.
and like
Gangster or baggy versus tight.
Yeah, and, like,
gangster
back-
versus emo.
back in the day, it was like, it was so funny. I'd be like going up like Hood River Express, right? And on the right, there would be literally like the first jump was 45 feet, and then it just progressively got bigger as you went down, and the last would be like 75-foot fucking step up or some shit. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that
Like,
Herm Park in that era was pretty gnarly.
It was gnarly, dude. I broke probably like one year. I broke like
It's what, like
7
2010 era?
no, this is
Oh,
like
mid-
2000.
2000s, right?
Slightly before.
06, 07.
Okay.
It was psycho.
Yeah.
And they like invested a bunch of money into the parks that season, and we had parks on every single like run almost. And they had, it was like 8 different parks, and each one of them had their own little name and banner, and it was like, it was insane. Like there's so
good
much to
era on
ride.
Hood.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll just pour into some of the questions I have for you because we're heading that direction.
Gangster versus emo was a sick
Dude,
era.
it was
Yeah.
so sick, man. And at the same
Bring it
time,
back.
you would like, of course, eventually everybody meshed into like the like a whole.
They're just like, we're park
It's like-
riders, right? Yeah,
it didn't
street
even matter,
riders,
and
yeah.
like, it was like the sickest time, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I loved that time.
That was a golden era of snowboarding.
so
and
much style.
people were
When did
still
you
filming video cameras,
Yeah.
no phones or
Yeah,
anything.
no
yet.
phones,
So you
all
needed
video
a filmer.
camera.
And
Yes, and like not everybody could be a filmer if you like didn't.
you
fucking
waited for
try.
the
have their
edits,
phone.
waited for the footage, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of honestly some of the magic that got pulled out of this for me is when the phones just got so crazy that like every single person was like,
It's a gift and a curse, right?
yeah, totally.
I mean, it's awesome.
It's
that
so much fun
we can
because
get
I've
footage
had fun
so
with
easily,
it.
but
What is your favorite camera to shoot with? That's one of the questions I
HVX
have
200.
for you. Okay, is that what most of your
I
stuff
will
is?
never again buy some dumb new 4K camera. I literally am looking at Extreme Home Video right now behind this camera, and the color and the there's moments of graininess, but really it's such good quality of like the way it picks an image up, and like the color is just incredible. It's like you're looking at real life.
and those cameras were really reliable.
They were
Like those 4K cameras, they always have some battery issues
Bullshit.
or
And
some.
that's what both of you guys were shooting on for that? 'Cause
I've
for
also
those
had,
of you who
uh,
don't know and are listening, these guys are two of the curators behind the lenses for Extreme Home Video and
Home Invasion.
Home
Both
Invasion.
videos, yeah,
both of
both
you guys,
videos.
you
We
guys did
filmed a
that
bunch of clips of.
collaboratively.
Yep.
I've also filmed HPX 170, which is to P2 cards, and now I have HMC 150, which is to SD cards.
Okay.
Both those cameras
How
are
do you like
pretty
the
comparable.
HMC?
It's great.
Yeah.
They're very comparable. They're a little bit lighter, so sometimes maybe it can be a little shaky, some people say, but I think they're very comparable
And
to HPX.
Let's just talk about Extreme Home
And-
Video. What was that like? How long did you guys film for? Was that just one
Dude.
like
it was-
storm? Because most of it's like footage from Portland during that we had that freak like
So
2
it
or
was a
3
total
It
weeks.
was a whole
like-
season of filming.
It was a whole season of filming, but there was like so we got this storm that was like fucking snowed like 2 feet of
Yeah.
snow, and then it got cold, like really cold, like 16 degrees, and it sucked all the moisture out of all the snow. And so this weird thing kept happening where like it'd warm up for a little bit and it'd like freeze and create like, then we had layers and like base, and it was like we could go hit any spot we
It
wanted for
it wasn't ice or rain.
it was buildable snow, like, and we would go and you know what was really like fun as a kid who's just like out there working hard with his friends who pretty much we're just like blue collar snowboarders that all have real jobs, and like we're out there doing it for the love and the passion of snowboarding. And every spot, not every spot, but like quite a few spots we went to, either we were pulling up and VG was leaving, Videograss was leaving, or we were leaving and Videograss was pulling up.
Yeah, so you guys were like doing official like
Yeah.
industry stamp
And-
level spots and tricks there. Like you guys made a great video.
And it was awesome. The guys too were like, once we had a really good day in the Dalles, and we had really a lot of fun out there, and then it kind of lit a fire under everyone's ass, and we like everybody was calling into work. We didn't give a fuck if we were going to lose our jobs or whatever. We were
Became like priority number
it
one.
became priority number one, and it's because some of the guys, like I think like 4 of them, they already had like 2 or 3 tricks on like different spots, and like everybody was like, holy shit, like I could make a video, like a urban video part in Oregon, which is like really hard to do, honestly. And just because you have to have like a whole crew of people to
It
like
has to be the perfect
do
scenario.
like a good like it's
The
just-
perfect storm,
And you
pun
need
intended.
a good amount of snow to hit all these different. You can only
Yeah.
hit 2 or 3 spots maybe in a day. You know,
Totally.
realistically,
Yeah.
Totally.
you're lucky to get one spot.
And we would leave
yeah.
at like 7 in the morning, like 6:30 in the morning. We would leave Leif's cabin, and Griffin was staying with us there.
Yeah.
And which we'll tell the story here in a second. But Griffin was staying with us, and we'd leave at like 6:30 in the morning, and we would get back when it was dark out, and every night, and then we'd leave before
Soaking
the
wet
sun
and
was coming
exhausted.
up.
We just like import the clips that night or
Yeah.
the morning, and then we just like go right back. Like
Yeah.
go to sleep
Throw
and
the
then
boots
go
on the
right back
dryer.
after it.
yeah, and it was like
I think it was like 10 days, 2
was-
weeks almost.
it
of
was
just-
like 2 weeks, and it was a total of like 16 days actually of filming.
okay.
Of like us going out and filming like street, because we got out a couple days before we
Before that Dalles day, I think you went to Hood River 1 or
Yeah.
2 days because
Yep.
there was a little bit of snow,
Yep.
and then it kind of just snowballed from
I
there.
remember,
It
I
did.
remember bumping into you guys at Tabor like a couple days in a row. It seemed like you guys were like
We went
in
to
this
Tabor
frantic battle for that wall ride.
dude. Oh, I did go to, and
We
that's
went
the
to
other
Tabor
thing,
maybe twice because we hit the rail and then that wall ride.
because I went there. So the guys, they did like a day of rest. We had done like I think 2 or 3 days of filming already, and then everybody did like a day of rest, because I mean we were literally hitting street snowboarding for 3 days, like working our butts off from sun up to sundown, and it was just, like the best time ever. And then so I went out one day to like get more clips because I was hungry to just like film a fun video. And I went and met up with Nick Dirks and Tyler Varigan and Brandon Hupp, and they filmed the chain link wall ride. And that was really cool to film Nick do something, and Tyler and Hupp.
Yeah, that was a big spot.
Yeah, that spot was cool. And just like I said, Tabor, there's like so many spots at Tabor.
Yeah.
And it's a giant mountain with like speed everywhere.
We were just there for this last Portland storm, just kind of like hitting some, I guess I could call it a mellow spot, or just like hopping on and doing that roof spot that everyone's posting clips from. I gotta give her some credit here. My fiance Morgan ate shit off of that thing. She she slipped out and went like feet overhead air chair to her back to no snow landing on concrete.
Yeah, we're glad she's okay.
And
that
we're happy
that
she's
could have
okay.
been bad,
I think
but
she might have gotten her first snow concussion.
she's all right.
And
that's cool.
Then landed it afterwards. So shout out to Morgan. Good job.
That's really tight. Then went back and got the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
What was your favorite clip from that whole experience? Do you have one?
There's a couple favorite clips in that movie that I'm gonna go with my top 3.
Yes.
So even though it's a crash, Taylor Rideman's clip in the intro when he's like trying to hit that like
That
crazy elbow
yeah.
rail was like, that was like the height of like, holy shit, like these guys, like Taylor at that point, he had stacked up a bunch of tricks, and I love him because he doesn't get a snowboard as much as like a lot of people I know, you know, and he just kind of was naturally gifted and talented. And so it was fun to watch him battle that. And even though he didn't get it and he broke his snowboard in half trying it, like that was really cool. And then
I don't think anyone's done that spot still.
and then, which I couldn't even believe he like wanted to attempt that. Like when you looked at it from the top, it was like,
It's a doable spot, but it's really gnarly.
What rail is it? I'm trying to picture it.
it's a down, flat down, but the elbow is like so gnarly.
Elbows to the left, right?
Okay.
And the first down's long, and so
Yeah,
it makes
so you
the
gain
elbow
a lot of speed into
quickly.
the elbow.
Come cooking into it.
And yeah, so that was the first clip, and then the second clip, I'd like Jagger's board slide on the down flat down in the Dalles. I still have never seen anyone put a clip out of that rail since.
Yeah, lip slide, right?
Yep, lip
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah, that was rowdy.
He almost caught and managed to put it back under his feet and like went through the donkey and come out. He came out switch, right?
I think he pulled it back. No, he probably did go switch. Yeah, so you like went through the donkey super perfect.
Yeah, and
The
like
switch.
pushed his feet
Yeah,
through the donkey,
it was-
and it was just really cool.
I went back to that spot a couple years ago, actually, and nobody hit it, and it's still looking pretty buck.
Oh, it's so buck, and that's like Jagger's MO. You know, he's just like a rowdy
that
dude.
was a hot.
like
That was on. Was that on that first day we went to the Dalles?
that was on the first day. We went
And
to the
so like
Dalles.
I feel like after that clip, it was like, okay, this is going off. Like
No,
these guys are sending.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, that clip.
that was a
honestly,
rowdy clip to kind of start it off.
It's literally a down flat down with cheese grater stairs off of a rock face cliff.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
It's so ridiculous,
Yeah.
actually. And there was just like the perfect amount of snow to where it didn't look so intimidating and scary. And then they just kept getting through the down flat and like kind of.
I think Kai was hitting it too. He was
Kai
trying to
tried it a
50
couple times.
Yeah.
Kai
That's
tried
one
it
of
a
the
couple
sickest
times.
things watching that video is like it translates through the footage how much the group was all together, like
Oh, dude.
fighting for it together. Like
It was like-
everyone's celebrating, everyone's grinding.
There was like
knobs off
multiple
of
times
spots.
when I first like got done editing the video, and the first couple times I watched it, I couldn't help but just like well up with tears because I was like so fucking
Fuck yeah, it
stoked
hits
on
you.
like what all my friends and I just made, and like it was a dream of my life to like ever make a urban snowboard video in Oregon with a talented group of friends who can like actually go out there and like put it down
Right.
and like do some cool shit where it was like, yo, like I've watched snowboard videos. Speaking of Northern Alliance, just to like back up for a second.
Yeah, you got to give us number 3 too.
Number 3. All right, we'll just hit number
Okay, yeah,
3.
let me hear number 3.
Fucking
I like the first 2.
Corey Caswell. I just want to say he's the most talented like style snowboarder I've ever filmed in my life.
Insane.
The amount of times I've seen that guy laying on his feet, it's crazy. His whole video part's awesome, but like his like switch front board pretzel, and I liked the whole series of the double rail when he.
Oh, that double slide.
Yeah, the double
that spot
slide.
was really sick.
Yeah, that spot was really sick. And
I don't
just
think
like,
I've ever filmed another double slide in the streets. That was really sick. I
And
mean, it was
he-
a mellow rail, but it was trickable.
how fast did we show up there, get
Yeah,
clips, and leave?
that spot was sick.
25 minutes, 30 minutes.
I
we were
think
there.
Alex St. Pierre gave us that spot
He
leak,
did.
right? Shout out him.
He did leak us that spot.
Yeah.
And we were like, yo.
I think
and
that was one of my favorite clips of that whole video.
I think Alex wanted to see us go film it too. And he knew Leif and I. Alex helped us film
I think
some
he
of
filmed
those. Alex filmed
of
some of the
clips.
spots. Yeah.
That's when you guys were out there filming the wall ride.
We had
That's who
3
I
video
recognized on
cameras.
the session was Alex. So
Yeah.
that's why I went. To
And
say
that's
hi
the
to
other
him.
thing. It was like so crazy and so lucky to like have such talented friends like all work on something together, and then like to be able to edit it and like put the soundtrack and music to everything. Like
It's insane. Like I don't know.
greatest moment of my life. And honestly, like it's one of those things I bring up because it's like literally I've lived out one of my dreams, and I was able to like move on with my life because I made an awesome snowboard video with my friends. Then we made Home Invasion, and it was kind of like, holy shit, I'm coming up on 30, you know, like, and I'm still hitchhiking up and down the mountain all the time,
Nothing
living
to
on
be-
people's couches, and
Yeah.
like, granted, I'd
I
go
mean,
work
it's
every
good
year,
to.
but
It's important to grow with your responsibility load, but
Yeah.
you don't have to stop doing the fun shit
No.
just because there's.
Okay, so you want to know something funny? One of my favorite clips in that video was when Corey Caswell does that front board at Washington Park. You know, that big ass rail?
and
I
the
always
Jacob
thought-
Nelson
I always
clip
thought,
after.
yeah, I always thought that clip was really sick. And then Jeff Holst told me that it was ABD.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
both
yeah.
Nick Visconti and I think Daryl Mass had already front boarded it. I think Corey's was like the most proper one, but I just thought
That
that,
was
like,
Ender, wasn't
I was
it?
like, yeah, that's street snowboarding.
Well,
You think you filmed this really sick clip, and then it was ABD.
right. And what's funny is like,
But we filmed so many other never been done, so it doesn't
That's
even
what I'm
matter. It
saying.
doesn't matter. But
and what's funny is like, Taylor had he did cab 2 pole on the football rail
The Hood
at
River spot?
Hood River spot,
Yeah,
and then
uh-huh.
just last year or the year before, Forrest Bailey put out the same trick on the same rail.
Yeah.
So that felt good, you know, like
Yeah, you got there first on
yeah.
that one.
And then there's been a couple of those.
ABDs are funny. They're
are.
like humbling
They are.
because you think you're so sick that you
Yeah.
film this clip and you're like, someone else did it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have filmed a lot of spots where I've never seen a single other clip from the spot.
I was just thinking that is one silver lining to the fact that there isn't snow here year round, and some years we don't get any snow. Is it kind of keeps things a little more? The city would have been maxed out so much
True,
longer ago.
true.
There's still
And,
some
like,
things are open.
There are some people that like have gotten down in our city and filmed some like really fucked up clips.
And
that-
especially kind of older, like Daryl Mathis has filmed
well,
a lot of those rails before.
yeah, and
Nick
like
Dirks.
Nick Dirks
We had
and
more industry in Portland.
Dylan Thompson and yeah, just
But a lot of times that footage is hard to find at
it's
this point.
so hard
you-
to find at this point.
it's ki-
Dude,
I
I've
don't know.
been digging because, especially for this, like, I want to find some of the history of Hood. Like, there's like, Premonition Films has some stuff. There's Johnny Paxson.
Johnny Paxson, like
stuff
Jonah
early.
Owen has
yeah,
a
it was
lot
called
of-
like Hood Crew or not Hood Crew. We know what Hood Crew is. Need them
No,
on
that
here
was-
too. But the Hood Rich, like
was
the
a
Hood Rich
movie.
Productions. Yeah.
No, that was just a movie.
Was that NA or Northern's
No,
movie?
so yeah, that was Northern Alliance's
Okay.
movie, and this is kind of what I wanted to bring up a minute ago. Was like working Northern Alliance was like that's where the seed got set for me.
Mm-hmm.
There was a treasure chest, like a trunk-looking treasure chest thing, right, full of snowboard DVDs from so many years because we inherited all of the shop videos from
NRC.
NRC, and
What
so
happened to NRC? Do you
NRC
remember?
just sold. Mark just sold to Nate.
That guy was so
you know?
nice. Like,
yeah, he
lots of
is.
little
He's
kid
still in the
going there.
community. We actually had breakfast a couple weeks ago and
Oh,
chatted
sick.
about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's into riding motorcycles, so we chatted about that. But what I wanted to say is, it's like it was so cool because I literally got to nerd out and watch Austin Smith's Sponsor Me tapes before he was like Austin Smith.
That's so cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I got to watch all these people, and he's also another Oregonian that's just, for a little while, Austin Smith was like one of the best snowboarders in the world, actually. A lot of people would say that.
Yeah, no, I
he was
agree with
incredible
you.
for a while.
I'm just sitting here reflecting internally.
He's
I'm
still
like,
incredible.
Both of you guys, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second. Both of you guys are so sick to have as like the shop dudes, as like a customer and someone in the community that's like would come into the Northern back in the day. Yeah, and then like BDK, like having either of you guys behind the counter is like just perfect. Like you guys are like easy to chat with. You all got some good stories of just like stuff that's been in the community. You guys are like, I mean this is a compliment. You guys are both like nerds of the sport of skating and snowboarding and of the community. Yeah, you're students of the game. Like you know what's up. Like yeah, it's just a proper pairing.
I had this DVD. It was called Time for
there.
Change, and it had an
I've seen
Austin
that.
Smith part, and he was ripping all these bend spots.
That was
like
a
probably
People movie,
15.
right?
Yeah, it was. I got it from the Timberline gift shop actually, and he was ripping.
Time for
all-
Change was a good movie.
Yeah, I think I still got it, but he was ripping all these bend spots.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah.
Street spots too. Now he's kind of more of a powder. He's all
Yeah,
powder, but
yeah.
when he was 18 or 20 or whatever.
To satisfy my my closeted autism here and to put things in a linear like line of what I'm trying to say. Let's roll through your lineage as a filmer to get on the record here. So we had from my perspective, it looks like we had the board games is kind of where it started on YouTube. It was long before that.
Way before that.
Fill us in.
So there was this kid named Nick Young, and when I was in high school, he had a.
Did you see Nick Young at the Rail
Recently,
Jam?
I just saw him.
He was
yeah.
at the Rail Jam,
and
yeah.
he came to my river spot. I got a little river spot in my neighborhood, and
Okay.
he showed up there, and he was like, "Cam Weeg," and I was like, "Holy shit, Nick Young, what up, man?" And he was also like an air blaster kid. He would wear like a leg bag and all this stuff, right? And so we kind of like, we just were like, "Oh, like you're sick," like we want to film some similar stuff, like goofy, weird things. And so we actually worked on a video that year and his little video production thing was called Foreground Films.
Okay.
And before that, I mean, I was already obsessed with snowboard
I have
videos.
clips in these videos too.
Lace got, we were in the video
Can
actually.
we find these anywhere? Are they
Oh,
online?
it's online somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so Leif and I are actually in the video, both of us. And like
Yeah, Nick Young was the original filmer, kind of.
for like our age.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was
That-
filming us.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
filming us actually, and this was like, this is kind of like back in the day. So Leif would always show up and he'd wear like a coat, like a starter jacket, whether it be like a sports team or like a Tech 9 jacket or like.
I still have the same Tech 9.
Okay,
nothing's
it's so
changed.
sick.
Nothing has changed
same.
at all.
And that's what I wanted to say too. Is both of us. What I love about like, I don't know. Maybe it's the era we're from, but like, I'll never change like how I will be on hill. I still to this day wear like somewhat tighter pants. Like I don't really wear super baggy pants, and like I've always stayed true to like my core of who I am as far as a
Yeah,
snowboarder.
you cement like the
I'm not
first
a-
take of it kind of gets cement. I fight the urge to
There's
put
some
on
gecko.
3
There's
tall
some
tees
tight
every time
pants
I
clips of
I
me
get
don't,
dressed,
out there,
you know?
guys. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
can dig them up if you need.
But yeah, Leif's always kind of been like swag king and
Ecos
gangster,
Leif.
and then I don't know. I've always been more like into the other aspect of it.
So that's when it started.
cool.
Was kind of that
Nick
era.
Young, yeah. Nick Young was like the first guy in our little like age group that was like doing some videos, and then, like I said, we were always obsessed with it, and then, it kind of just turned into.
When did you start carrying the title "Board Over Brains" and where'd that come? We
Then
actually have
there
a
was,
listener question
There
here.
was Melting Pot, wasn't that?
So
the
that's what I was
first?
gonna get at. So I kind of Nick Young.
Lex wanted to know what the name means.
Okay, so here we go. So we did the foreground film thing with Nick, and then it was kind of like, I want to make snowboard videos because like I'm such a fan or whatever.
And I think Nick kind of switched over to skiing.
he did.
too.
That's what I was gonna
Okay.
say. Nick switched to skiing and was filming like Saga, and at the time, like if you did anything with Saga and you were a snowboarder, it was just like that was just bad shit.
Yeah.
Like no.
Dude, so get this.
So-
when I was
Saga
living in
was
Utah,
not Tech 9 baggy. It
No.
was,
I had
bad
a
baggy.
homie that
Yeah.
was working at the Saga factory that gave me a bunch of Saga stuff. So I was like, I'm broke. I'm going to wear this. So I was
Yeah.
like a snowboarder wearing Saga shit, just like clueless, no idea.
I feel like
at
in
all.
today's day and age, Saga would pass, but at the time it was very polarizing.
Well-
like snowboarders didn't want to
Yeah,
rep
no, there was
Saga.
a fence.
Well, and I just want to say this if we're on Saga right now. So there's a snowboarder back in the day named Jeremy Astorga. He was really fucking talented, really good snowboarder. He rode
Yeah,
for
yep.
Battalion and Switchback Bindings. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, switchback.
Switchback bindings, yeah. He rode for Battalion Switchback, and him and like Jaeger Bailey and like Richie Conklin and Ryan Plush and Chris Pratt, all those dudes.
And Jeremy
Brian Pratt. I don't know why I
Jeremy
just said Chris
Astorga
Pratt.
filmed with Nagel and Jeff
And
Holtz.
Oliver Dixon and Nagel and Jeff Holtz. And so I got a lot of respect for Jeremy Astorga and what he was like doing with Saga. But that's the only other time I ever was like, I'm down with like Saga. With Jeremy
Fair
Astorga.
enough.
But he like he was one of those dudes that like he rips so fucking hard. It's like you can't deny it.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever. If they're gonna pay him some money to snowboard, like I'm for that. Like that's fucking cool. Like he's being appreciated, you know? But yeah, I picked up sorry, I'm fucking
No, you're good. I'm
all
just,
over the
I was
place.
thinking, I'm just like,
But,
I wasn't doing myself any
and
favors
then,
trying to wear that shit back in the day.
I like spent a summer up on Hood, and I lived with Jay Hergert, and we filmed a bunch of videos. Before that summer, we filmed all winter and filmed these videos called Surfaniacs.
Okay.
And it would be Jay and I, and then our buddy Colin Whalen would come down from Vancouver, Washington, or come up from Vancouver, Washington. And he was like 18, and he'd skip school like every day to come hang out with Jay and I and like ride powder. And then that summer turned into like us meeting Jay DeForge, Charlie Mayforth, Luke Haddock, Ian Post, Yale Cousineau, fucking just so many people that were like influenced the shit out of me to like make videos. Matt, Ryan, and Matt Bernard. He lives out in like Utah.
Matt Bentley.
Not Matt. Not Matt.
He was
Bentley.
another.
Matt Bentley was like a Mount Hood snowboarder dude. He was a good
Yep.
dude. But yeah, it was just cool. It like lit a fire for filming under my ass, and
Was that Melting Pot?
that was
Those
like the
videos
start
were
of
under Melting Pot?
That was right before Melting Pot, and
Okay.
what happened was I had made a couple videos with a GoPro, and they made it on a Yobeat, and then Brooke from Yobeat was like, "Hey, you get a real video camera, and let's film this thing called, or let's film a video for the mountain." And I said, "Well, let's call it Public Paradise." So actually, my first videos that got like a lot of views, I edited these with Matt Bernard. I'm pretty sure his name's Matt Bernard. I hope I'm getting that right. But we edited these first videos together. I filmed most of both
Is that
of the
what
videos.
turned into Paradise Island eventually?
No, and that's what's crazy.
Okay,
is like
'cause it's so close
So I
name-wise.
did.
Oh, Public Paradise, and you'd film people in the public park.
Yeah, it's film people
for
can-
Yobeat.
Yes,
I
for
remember.
Yobeat.
I think I have a clip or two.
You do.
in some of those.
And those were like, dude, honestly, I go back and watch those. Are some of like the best edited video. Matt edited that video. I think I helped pick the music, and then I helped with the organization of the clips. But like Matt was the one cutting and like doing all that stuff at the time because I didn't really have a program yet. And so
Were those filmed with DSLR?
that was filmed with DSLR.
Like a Nikon? Did
Yeah,
you have a Nikon?
it
or
was.
something?
It was like
Yeah.
a D5000 or something. Nothing special, but like.
But at that time, any kind of video camera was cool.
cool.
Or like
right,
that was passable.
right. Not a blown out video or
Yeah,
a
especially
GoPro.
what other kids are using, like, yeah. I was
Even
about to say the
GoPro was
GoPro on a
almost
stick,
passable,
yeah.
but if
Almost.
you had a DSLR or
Right.
a Handycam, that's even better.
Right. And so that transpired into I bought this camera, right? I went on eBay and I bought like the same camera I filmed those Yobi edits with, and I bought a bunch of shit. I spent like $800, which was like I sold like everything I owned to buy this, right?
To buy
And
your
then-
own DSLR?
Yeah.
Because that one was owned by Yobi?
That one was owned by Matt Bernard.
Okay.
So Matt was kind of more like wanting to. He was interested in filming, but also he was more of a writer and wanted to get clips too. So I kind of used. I used Matt's camera, and anyway, so I bought my own setup, and then right after I bought my own setup, I had spent that summer a lot of time with Kyle Schaefer, who does Jupiter People, and Eric Leon, and they stayed with us almost every night for like months. They would show up with weed and frozen pizza. Like every night they would show up with weed and frozen pizza, and Jay and I'd be like, "Get in here."
Yeah,
And then-
that's good. A good ticket to the couch right
Yeah,
there.
like it was awesome. And And so Kyle was kind of like, in a sense, like a sensei, because Kyle Schaefer is like, he's done so much editing and filming at Bear Mountain and down there and just around California, to where he's just sharpened his teeth, and he's still doing it.
Did that kind of help to shape your style? Because like later on, once you got into like the Paradise Island, it kind of it had that same vibe as it was the same like era
That
as
was
like
my
the
goal.
Sunday in the park at Bear. It was like Timberline's version of that. And, like,
I was trying
the
to
crew
do
that
that.
you're filming at the time too. It's like it's so fun to go back and watch.
Yeah, no,
Like-
the guys were like trying to do new tricks, or and also like we were working the parks and like setting up like features that were hittable.
So you're
And-
able to kind of shape it.
Yeah.
towards your
I would say
goal.
Paradise Island was peak Timberline.
It
I don't-
was.
You know.
It was.
No disrespect to anyone working there now, but it's
Dude,
been
it's-
kind of a flat line at Timberline.
That's the one of the notes I have on here. That shit was 10 years ago, and it is the same features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not complaining. We're having a good time up there, but I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, it's crazy. It's like we kind of
Well-
all those are like brand new. And
That was
we've
peak
been
Timberline.
running the same steel.
And what's tough is like,
all the way back to where you have starting her up, but you have an edit or a couple shots in there where it's one of the rails at the summits. I'm like, it's a flat bar from the yard. I'm
Yep.
like, that shit's just been kicking around
Yep.
Govey for like 12 years plus.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
who
Straight
knows where that came from originally? I'm
Straight
not
up.
surprised it's more banged up, you know?
straight up. And so what's funny is like I bought that camera, right? And it's like September, and I hit up Kyle, and for some fucking reason I am just like, you know, I'm 19, just so stoked to go film something and like try to make something, like anything, like throwing shit at a wall, you know? And so my family helps me go down to California for hot dogs and handrails.
Oh, sick.
And we like scrounge up money together. I go like,
Is that the one that Jeff went to?
Probably. They've been doing it for a really long time, and this is back in like 2011.
Okay.
And so I go down there, and I think my plane ticket was like $260 or something, and I got dropped off, and Kyle Schaefer picked me up, and the first song that was playing in there was California Love. And I'm just like, yo, like, this is just so dope, you know? Like, getting picked up at LAX by my buddy, and
Especially when you're on like a trip, like a shred
Right.
trip, and it's like maybe your first one going down
So,
there. It's
it
just like
gets
the
better.
most rose-colored glasses you
it
could
gets
ever
better.
have.
So he picks me up, and we go to, he's working for this lady who's like this world-renowned autism doctor, and he makes her videos. Like, he films her like practices, and then like makes videos for her patients. So he's living at her house. It's like this villa, and there's like a pool house and like this whole separate thing where he's like living, and there's literally like a sky bridge over to like the main house. Well, we pull up, and it's like this gated like house or whatever, and I'm like, dude, where are we? He's like, welcome to the compound. We show up, and there's like 5 German nannies that take care of these ladies' kids, right? And they're all just like extremely beautiful and like nice and stuff. And I'm like, where the fuck do you live, dude? Like, this is insane. And we go upstairs, and like in his like room, adjacent from his room is like a big common area, like where the pool house is or whatever. There's like a pool table and like full bar, like fully stocked with like all this liquor and stuff. Anyway, we proceed to have a lot of fun, and these fun ladies end up to get me so drunk and like wasted that like I'm just puking my guts up for like 3 hours. I think I like woke up the next day like so hungover, and then I realized too, like, I grew up in a small town, Boring, Oregon, and I had a 45-minute drive to the hill, right? Well, when you are in LA at your buddy's house and you're going to go to Bear Mountain, you just have like all this persona of like how far away a mountain's supposed to be at 19. Yeah. You're not like, we're about to drive like 4 hours, you know? With traffic and everything, it was like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
It was insane.
I can't believe that people do that, and like
it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I just had to, like, at that moment I was like, wow, like these guys have a lot of passion to go snowboarding. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't believe that how close I live and how spoiled I am. Like, right away I knew, like, wow.
And how long our season is.
Holy
you know?
shit, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
So I went and filmed that event, and I got to meet like Ryan Paul and Jesse Paul and Nick Visconti at the time, and Sean Black, and
We hung over at the event.
Oh yeah, and
But the event was the next day?
Yeah, the event was the next day, and like I just kind of hopped the fence and like got into the event and started filming everything, and nobody questioned me. And then we're leaving the event, and I had been drinking beer like all day, right? And I'm driving the car because I'm like the least drunk guy there, and I hear this, sir, this is a forced pullover. You have a blinker out, blah blah blah. Or I'm like, oh no, like this is my point where I get a DUI.
Yeah.
You know, pulls me over. He asked me if I had been drinking like 10 times. He's like, why are your eyes so red? And I'm like, dude, I have contacts and I've been at hot dogs all day around dust and hay. You know, like I'm not drunk. You know?
You talked your way out of it.
Talked my way out of it. And then he like, when he looked at my license and he read boring Oregon, it like broke the ice. And he's like, is it really boring and boring? I was like, dude, it's super exciting. And he just started laughing. And like, at the end of it, he was just like, okay, like get these guys back safe. Because
Pass
everyone
the
in the
vibe
car
check.
was like wasted.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, dude, like the last thing I want right now is like a DUI. And I'm down here for like 2 days.
Especially now you're going
And
for a
MIP.
CDL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, what time are we looking at here?
10:30.
10:30. All right, we're chilling.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time to roll through.
And then that kind of led into the melting pot, and I filmed Jeff Hopkins that season, and Kelly Underwood and Jordy Ortega, and
my favorite crew from Hood?
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite.
Was that
personal
still with
crew
the DSLR, or was that,
That was
and
still
then
with
kind of
the DSLR.
transitioned into iPhone, right?
yes, and
Okay.
so that's what's funny is like I sold the DSLR because like I hit a point where I was like literally I felt like it was a poison, and I hated it so much that I just like had to get away from it, and I just could not afford a HVX at the time.
Why did you not? Why did you think it was so bad?
Because like every time I would fix it, it would break again.
Oh, just the camera.
The
was
lenses-
remember, like, it was
unreliable?
G-
The
Jinx.
lenses
Okay.
would break, and then be like I'd be doing a follow cam, and it's like doing this like wobble thing, and I can't even like get it stable, and now I'm holding 2 hands on a camera while trying to follow cam backwards and like looking uphill. Like you're trying to do like 6 things at once, you know, like working against yourself. And so what's crazy is like I kind of stepped back from filming snowboarding, and the whole reason I did is because I was actually seeing this girl who was like a massage therapist, right?
Oh, nice.
And I had this moment where I had been like just kind of snowboarding and like not paying attention to our relationship and where that was going, and not valuing her time. And I was actually hitchhiking up through town, and she drove by me in a convertible, like an Audi convertible, with this dude, and
Oh,
I was
shit.
like a eye-opening moment, like holy
That's a very
fuck.
eye-opening moment.
Holy fuck, man, like you need to like get a car again, and like maybe get a good job, and like all that stuff. So
Oh, you're just like
honestly,
full like Govey Scrub status
totally
at that point.
so
yeah.
full of it, and
Yeah.
and just like so she moved on, and then that was like my moment where I was like, holy shit, like I need to get a backup plan. I can't just be a snowboard bum. Like I got to be able to make some money so I can be a snowboard bum. So I went to wind turbine
Is that
school.
when you started doing the windmills?
So you sold the DSLR,
I sold the DSLR,
and you're like, I'm not going to be a filmer.
well, no,
or-
I was like, I didn't like it, and I wanted to get rid of it and get something else. And I was like, I need to go get a good job so I can afford a nice camera. And so I literally went to school. Then it took me like years to like get the setup, you know. And it was funny. It was 2014, and I just finished like one of my first windmill projects, and I just bought the new iPhone 10 or 11 or something. Well, I didn't read the specs on it or anything. I just thought it was like cool camera, you know. Well, I went up and I filmed. That was like right when Instagram started making videos. Like you could post like 15-second clips. And I went up with that phone, and I was like, oh, like I'll just film it sideways, and I'll zoom with the phone, and I'll zoom while I'm riding and all this stuff. Well, I didn't know it had like an internal stabilizer and like all this cool shit.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as like
Nowadays it's crazy. I film it like this, and I'm like, it'll
it's
be
so
good.
stable.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because as soon as I realized that this phone could like do some crazy shit, like I started filming with it. And what's funny is at the very end of the season, when everybody came out that spring, nobody knew that season when I first started putting out Board Over Brains videos that I was filming only on a phone.
I didn't know that. going through and
the
watching, it
first
doesn't
season
look like
is
that.
all iPhone,
It's all
right?
on iPhone.
The whole
Okay.
season's iPhone filmed sideways, and it was because we were just filming park.
Yeah.
And so essentially, I just had this like super dope camera that could go. It could even
your
go
pocket.
0.5, and it had a stabilizer on it. It was just crazy, and so it made filming like really easy because.
How many seasons did you run Board Over Brains? Got to season 3?
No, so we did one season where it was the phone. Then that next season, I sold a firearm and I bought my HVX from the Final Cut Pro King on YouTube. He has like a gajillion followers.
Okay.
Isn't it like Zach King?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd always watch his videos. They're
Yeah.
really
so
good.
his dad was like this sketchy looking dude with like this trench coat, and like I didn't know it was the Final Cut King's dad, Zach King's dad. And he met me at a Elmer's in Clackamas, and he had 3 HVXs and like 3 different package deals. And like I picked this one for like $500, and then after I picked up my HVX with 60 hours on it, 4 P2 cards, and 3 batteries for $500,
Fuck yeah.
which is like such a fucking steal even to this
In that
day.
day-
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
even
He
to
met you
this
in a
day.
trench coat too. I think
Oh, it was
anytime
hilarious.
I sell anything online now, I think I have to get a
He was
trench
like the
coat
guy
from
on
you first.
the Disney Hercules
appropriate.
that's like, you want any sundials?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like,
That's hilarious.
holy fuck, dude.
So why did you want to?
Like-
Why did you want an HVX over just using the iPhone?
So the reason I wanted the HVX was for the zoom, and I wanted it for the zoom, and then I just, like I said when we were talking earlier, like favorite camera I ever used, like I liked the way it looked. And Connor Brown, he was from our same era too, and he was kind of a kid who he was a really hard worker, super hard worker, and he was able to afford a camera that was the HVX with the extreme fisheye, and I just knew the quality of videos that were coming out from him. And he filmed this movie called This Must Be the Place, which my really close best friend Kevin Maples was in that video, Chris Cloud, so many sick
And he was-
Andrew Aldridge.
he kind of made. I mean, even though he didn't become a professional videographer in snowboarding, that was a very.
That was
This
like
kid's gonna make it, right?
Totally.
All these
And-
pros want to film with this guy. and
Totally.
he was filming up at Brighton.
And so that was kind of like, if I'm like, who gave me the idea to get an HVX? It's like, I saw what Connor was using and what he was producing, and I was like, I want to be on that level, you know? And so the next season I got the HVX.
Season 2 and 3.
And it was funny because that season we hadn't really started filming Paradise Island yet, actually. And the first Paradise Island was actually, we went and stayed up on the Hogsback on the saddle. And we camped overnight, and we did like a big session up there. And then we had like a couple days of the last couple days of the summer, we were like all snowboarding in the park, and like all the boys were up there, and we were drinking like acid water, and we were just fucking like, dude, I was
like putting like hallucinogens.
Yeah.
I was picturing from the dead pool up there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So like we're literally drinking acid
Tracking.
water, and like I'm laughing so hard on some of these clips, like behind the camera, and Andy's doing these rippy flips on like a 60-foot jump.
Jesus.
And like all I could think of is like, my friends are like the sickest fucking people on the planet, and like I'm so lucky to like capture this shit right now, you know, and I'm all hyped and they're all hyped, and it was just such a fun vibe. And yeah, and so that was their first Paradise Island.
Were
And
you going by Board Over Brains at that
I
point? or
was.
What
And-
what does that name mean? Where
So-
does it come from? Because a bunch of people ask about that.
So when I got done with that windmill job in 2014, I was sitting in my bedroom in Walla Walla, Washington, which if you haven't been there, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Very in the middle of nowhere. What were you doing up there? That's just where you're based out of?
Just got done building a wind farm up there, and I wanted to stay up there and work at Bluewood, and I was going to be a park groomer in a piston bully.
Shout outs Ginger.
Yeah, and I was going to like work up there and like drive cat for them. I had never driven cat in my life, but I grew up driving tractors and like machinery and like backhoes and excavators, so I was like, I can do it, you know? And so I was like fully in and like fully hired. Well, that was the season where we got no snow.
Okay.
And one day I'm sitting in my room and I'm just bored as hell. Like I've already supposed to have been at work. It's like end of November, beginning of December. There's still no snow at Bluewood or over there. And so I'm sitting in my room and I pick up this paint pen that I torque bolts with at work. And I picked up my skateboard. It was like brand new. And I just like thought to myself like, bored over brains. And then I read it like 100 times and I thought it was like the funniest thing on the planet, really. And then I started writing it on like a bunch of shit, and I never thought, I was like, I'm gonna like film under this, or I'm gonna do this, you know. And then when we started doing the videos with the phone, I was like, my buddy Kevin Maples was like, what should we call this or whatever? And I was like, dude, honestly, like I've been writing this everywhere, and I think this is pretty funny, and it has a lot of meaning behind it. And bored over brains kind of means like, when you show up to a spot and like you're thinking about what tricks you can do on it, and not like what injuries you could get hurt on. And that's like the true aspect of bored over brains. Or the same fact as when you're with a giant group of homies and like everybody's going fucking crazy and the vibes are insane. Everybody's bored over brains because they're literally like fucking losing their shit.
Yeah, just letting it happen, not trying not living in like the first person, you know, version of yourself. That's like that little voice in your head.
So another funny thing is Kevin, back in that time, I feel like you had to film under something else. You know, now you have all these filmers that just film under their name. It was kind of the same with Chutch. Like, what's the name of your group?
You had to have like a gimmick.
How Kevin Maples asked you. You couldn't just film under Cam Weeg or something. You had to have like a group name. It's kind of funny.
And then when I started doing stuff, I was like, at that time I had like been like part of snowboarding for a little bit, you know, and like had some friends, and I had an idea what I like to see in snowboarding and things I enjoyed to film, and then things that I thought weren't sick or like whack, you know, and that shit would like how you do a trick. It's kind of like how a person like how you talk, like diction. Isn't that called diction?
How you dictate?
Yeah, like your trick, or like you can manipulate your snowboard to like do certain things.
Your own little signature on it. Like everyone's gonna do a front blunt 2 out, but like you can take the silhouette of someone doing it, and you're gonna recognize that person.
Right, exactly. And so like, I guess that's like, I don't know.
That's good to hear your take on it, because I've also wondered, because and I've never asked before. I guess what I thought it meant is it kind of came around during that age when everyone's like, are we going to go to college? What are you going to do? You're like in your whimsical 20s, whatever. And I also was like, you know, instead of going to school, we're going to go to the mountain. It's like bored over brains, like a math equation. You know what I mean?
What's funny is I actually have drawings.
It's like, am I going to spend all my time at college, or am I going to go snowboard? And it's like, I'm going snowboarding.
And that's another thing too, is life is so beautiful in the aspects of like showing you different things to be grateful for. And I have a lot of friends I have a friend who went to school to be a marine biologist. I have 2 other friends that went to school to be doctors. I got just a really talented group of friends that I've like surrounded myself with from high school. And to this day, I'm friends with a lot of them still. And they're all so smart and intelligent. And sometimes because they're so intelligent and smart, I would feel like I wasn't not as intelligent or smart as them. And like, sometimes I couldn't bring something to the conversation that they were talking about, because I was so bored over brains to where it was like, I didn't know anything else besides snowboarding.
Yeah,
it was
all you cared about. You just wanted to talk about snowboarding.
It was my entire identity, and that was my passion in life, and that's all I cared about for 12 years of my life. Well, longer than that. I started snowboarding at 6 years old.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
On Hood.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Now Hood Meadows.
For time's sake, I want to make sure that we're getting to all the questions that everyone asked here. Max Test wrote in. He said, what it was your favorite Paradise Island episode, and he says that his is season 2, episode 6.
Hell yeah. That's really
Do you know
cool.
which one that is?
Is that the
I
Tanner?
imagine it's a Max Heavy one, you know.
It's probably like Tanner Seymour. I feel like that's the Tanner.
I watched them, but I forget which one
Seymour.
he was referencing.
It's
and
got,
like Corey's binding breaks off in that edit, and he still does all these like that. I honestly
was it at Ski Bowl Timberline?
Skeeble and Timberline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the fun thing about Paradise Island is like we could go film at all 3 resorts if we wanted to, and just make it. And that's what it was. It was about Mount Hood. It wasn't about like this resort's better than this resort or this or that. Because
It was just
if you ask
promoting
a
that crew
true
on Hood.
snowboarder from Mount Hood, people ask me this all the time. They're like, "What's your favorite resort on Mount Hood?" I go, "Mount Hood," because like every day could be a different condition, and like
It's a lot of the same
granted,
faces.
yeah, and like depending on condition, like there's different things to go ride each resort for. You
That's
know,
true. Meadows on
And-
the deep powder day, pretty sick.
you can't even catch close to as much air at Ski Bowl or Timberline as you can at Meadows. Like I've caught colossal air and seen people catch colossal air. Brian Fox.
Yeah.
One time I was staying on this wind lip. I was looking at this step down. It was like 40 fucking feet, and it was like a hero powder day where it was like 3 feet of pow, and you could just jump literally a football field if you wanted. And freaking I hear a jacket behind me, like the wind, then you know, and I literally like look over my shoulder. Brian is coming at me like a million miles an hour, about takes off my tail on my snowboard, flies off this lip, and lands exactly where I was like looking at to
Scoping it.
land.
Damn.
And I was like, okay, like I know I'm looking at the right shit now, you know? And Brian just like laced it up all super dope. And it was cool. I tried to hit it the next run. I think I air chaired forward and landed like on my face.
Yeah, it's hard to catch air at a. Sometimes Timberline can be hard to find some air if you're just riding natural features.
You got pretty
and
good
stuff.
air in your recent edit.
Yeah, that was
Shameless
that was
promotion.
the only button to be hit that day. You know, sometimes it's
The back
Was it a
flip.
jump you built?
No, it was just a little
From
bumper.
Molly's to Poochie,
But we
right?
have been going out, and my mission, to get completely selfishly side
Yeah.
railed here, my mission this winter is just to get into side country as much as I can, and we've been going out there. And,
That's something
we've
I've
cracked the
not
seal on a couple
tapped
side country
into
jumps
that
this
much.
year.
That's awesome.
Plenty more to get after. We ain't done yet, but yeah, good times. Well, I'll take this moment
Season
to,
2. Wait, so what is your favorite episode? Do you know?
Oh, fuck. Honestly, my favorite episode is the Sunset Timberline shoot with Seal, the song.
On Conway's?
Yeah. Oh, no, it was on Paintbrush. Or spray paint.
Spray paint.
And what was funny
Like
is...
right next to the lift, right?
Yeah, right next to the lift.
Connor or Corey and Andy Gladder.
And Kai. Kai
And
got
Kai,
together
yeah,
too.
mhm.
And it was funny because it was Andy's birthday. And like... it was so funny. We got to have a sunset shoot.
Didn't Timberline give you sled laps?
We got sled
See,
laps.
Timberline used to be way sicker.
No, dude. Literally, there was like
on.
so much cool shit going on, and honestly, like Ricky was the, like kind of events like manager dude who
Marketing,
was
right,
marketing
yeah,
and doing all
uh-huh.
that, and he was like super involved with snowboarding, from a young like age. Ricky grew up in government camp actually. When I met Ricky, he was on a mountain bike doing a wheelie up government camp road, and he rode it for like the whole way, and I thought he was like the coolest
That's
dude.
sick.
Yeah, he'd
And
be a good person to have on this show, too.
he would be an incredible
Yeah.
person. He's the Air Blaster regular guy,
Okay.
and regular guy was someone who just was a radical ass person that snowboarded for snowboarding and not any other reason besides he was like up there every day and like always had a good attitude, whether it was like
He's a
raining.
big reason why Air Blaster was so big at Mount Hood.
Yeah, yeah. Ricky Hauer.
Yeah.
So you like that that sunset jump
The
shoot.
sunset jump shoot.
That was a good
Paradise
edit.
Island
That was a sick edit.
It's funny. Jagger gives us a Michael Jordan tongue on this like front three. He like does this big front three and just looks into the camera, and he's wearing like this big Pro-Tech helmet with like no goggles on, and he's like just gives me a big Jordan tongue, you know, like ah! And it was just so fun and like
Did they ask you to do that, or did you ask them to do that, or how did
they
that get
asked
set up?
They asked me to do it.
For
And
Timberline marketing?
For Timberline marketing.
Yeah.
And they brought out the sign and the Timberline sign on the lip, and we shot it at sunset, and
Yeah.
it was such a fun. And then when I was editing it, I just boosted all the colors because it was just so pink and purpley and beautiful outside.
It's such a vibe watching the all that. The whole series is like very like you did a good job at capturing that time period and like
Do you
what
know
was trending
which,
kind of during
episode that
very
was?
neon-y.
Which episode it is? I don't.
Okay, but I know what edit you're talking about.
And it was like, it was just fun. That was like, I think we had just gotten back from like Super Park or something too, and that was also just that edit. I think's Super Brains, our Super Park edit is one of my favorite videos.
Mammoth?
Yeah, Mammoth. Super Park was, I think it was Super Park 22.
Well, you guys both did a really good job of. I've been thinking this the whole episode, and I think that my words are going to fail me here, but I'm going to try to put it onto a postage stamp. That both of you guys did a really good job of taking that time period and the crew that was riding on Timberline, all the people we've been talking about, and those we haven't mentioned, but you know who you are. There's some of the heroes that I look to that I think of, as being like, hey, that was my time up there. Like that's the group that I associate with. Those are my friends up there, and it was during a time of some of their best riding. Some of those people aren't here anymore. They've moved on to other adult things and what have you. But you guys really took a really good period of time and really good riding, and you put it all together in this perfect storm of these two videos and a video series. And it's up there on the shelf to be there and to be viewed for all of time. So
Totally.
Thank you guys both for doing that, because you put all this effort in your head when you're doing it as a kid. You're like, we're doing this because it's fun, but you're like, maybe I'm gonna go pro and like money and blah blah blah, and like maybe I'll have things because of this effort. But what you end up having is you just cemented these memories for life. So thank you guys.
It definitely helped grow the Mount Hood scene.
Yeah,
because
it's giving
I
us
was
a
living in
foundation.
Utah, and I saw your edits from that first Paradise Island, and I also saw the Carroll brothers, and I said, oh wow, the Mount Hood scene's looking pretty good, and I ended up moving back that next year or something.
And what's funny is I have like super distinct memory of, so when we were filming some like the first edits, and we were shaking it up there, we were watching Connor, Colton, and Griffin ride every day. And for some reason, Griffin's parents like rented him like a apartment, and then like these kids are going to online school. They're 16 years old and they're like on hill every day, and they look just as dirty as us. They're like living in Govey, and I'm like thinking to myself like, who are these children and how are they here on like a Tuesday?
Whose feral kids are these?
Like straight up. And then at the same time, like we're asking those questions, we're like, this is so dope, and like we wanted to like feed into like their progression. And so they'd like be doing a trick under the lift or like be hitting the jump, and we would just be like heckling and hollering at Griffin, Connor, and Colton, and like just be like helping try to perpetuate the like stoke and like
Just help
their
push their
progression.
riding,
Yeah.
And now look at them, they're
Totally.
big dogs.
Well, and I told, it was funny, like the year I was saying that Connor came and worked with us at Ski Bowl, like one of his first seasons working park crew, I'll never forget, we were sitting in the woods and like we were smoking a bowl, and fucking he was like, God, like I just fucking love snowboarding and this and that. And I told him, I was like, man, I've seen a lot of people come through Mount Hood in my lifetime, different eras and different pro snowboarders and this and that. And I just told him, I was like, just keep fucking snowboarding, and like some shit's gonna happen, and just keep fucking snowboarding and having a good attitude, and like don't focus on partying, focus on getting to the hill every day and snowboarding. You know how many people, super talented snowboarders I've seen from government camp fall to
Just
the
get lost
wayside
in
because
Govey.
it's not even, sometimes Govey, yeah, and sometimes Govey, I love it up there. I spent a lot of my life up there. Sometimes people medicate too much up there.
Yeah.
And
I
like
wish
a little
that
bit of
there were more people in
over
Govey.
medicating.
I wish there was more people in Govey on Ellshead that are there because of they have the drive like the Carroll brothers have, and they're there for the reason of like number one priority is the riding, and then like everything else is secondary. I think there's a lot of people that go there to escape society and just like burn out.
Every ski town's gonna have that, and part of it's like every ski town's gonna have that, and every beach town's gonna have that, because it's like it's really peaceful to be on the mountain and it's really peaceful to be at the beach. And so it's just sometimes I feel like people don't exercise sobriety enough, and they tap into just like
Just get dragged
too
down.
Well, someone put it this way: if every single night's Friday night, you're gonna have like limited Friday nights. But if you like pick what nights are gonna be Friday night and like go have fun, like you're gonna have more Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
But if every single night's Friday night, that shit's gonna catch up with you.
Yeah.
The weekend's gonna end, and fucking then you're gonna be fucking 35 years old living in Govey. And not to harsh on any of my buddies that are 35 living in Govey, but like I've just seen a lot of
I'm
people
35.
come.
I commute to Govey.
Hey, exactly. And then
35 and live 20 minutes away from Govey.
exactly. And so it's like you just go through these periods where, like myself, I could perpetually be up there every fucking day because I love it so much. But it's like a thing of balance I'm trying to find now where I can still go up there and then make a living and progress through life, you know.
Well, respect, and thanks for being a part of the community still. And
I love this community, dude. Like, honestly.
hold on, someone said something
they've
about
done
that.
a
Quarter
lot.
Zip Fleece said, "Thanks for always keeping it loyal and prioritizing the community." So,
Mac Heffron,
respect.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mac is someone who, you know, he's a skier, and I got so much respect for Mac because he's also a steward of the community, and he does a lot. He's like a ski patrol dude, and he like builds ski patrol sleds,
Okay.
and then he does like arbor. I think he's an arborist.
Speaking of ski patrol, I was going to say, congrats on your comeback from a pretty substantial back injury.
You know,
was that
dude,
2 years ago now, or 3 years ago?
Last season, right?
It happened last season.
Okay, wow.
And
okay.
actually,
No
it was
way.
it
Less
was
than
February.
1 year, yeah, right?
It was
Or-
February 11th.
I've just seen you a couple times since then to where it kind of like,
Yeah,
like,
tell us.
you're good.
You
so
want
it's
to tell
just
us
go
about
back.
the injury a little bit?
Yeah,
Might as
so-
well. It's pretty big thing.
It was. It's 8 days past my 1 year since it happened.
Wow, congrats, dude,
Thanks,
on
man.
on your comeback.
Thank you. You know, when it happened, I had done the trick 2 times before that perfectly, and then one of my
We're talking on a wall ride here.
on a wall ride, yeah,
at Meadows.
wall
in
ride
the
at
park.
Meadows. The day before, it was like 60 degrees, and my kids that I was coaching, we were all at Ski Bowl riding
You're
like
coaching at Wendell's at the time,
yeah,
right?
coaching at Wendell's, and well, it was through High Cascade for like local program for the weekend.
Okay.
And so I'm helping these kids, and we're like honestly having the best season. Like every contest we went to, we'd like sweep the podium, and we were having so much fun. And we were actually starting to get in like a really good groove as like a crew, you know.
Yeah, the kids were good. I'd see you guys at the rope tow on the weekends.
And
mornings.
I wouldn't even strap in when I'd go to the rope. Most of the time, I would just be like walking around, and I'd sometimes
Clipping
even
them up, yeah.
clipping them up. I'd pick a rake up, make sure the lip was staying good, and
Being a good coach.
yeah, being a good coach, like really caring, and like I have a lot of passion for learning, and like I love seeing the light bulb turn on when someone learns a trick or like how to board slide correctly, you know, and all those simple little things. Well, it was like it wasn't 60 degrees, but it was really warm and slushy. And then the next day it got overcast and like 20 degrees, right?
Like all that froze.
And
Got fast and frozen.
and at this time in my life, you know, there's a few tricks.
You were riding really good.
Thank you.
Up until that point. Like
Thank you.
You're having a great season.
I was. And I was doing some tricks I haven't done in a long time, and like also just riding really solid, and I felt good on my board.
Being in
and
the camp bubble helps.
yeah, and so the first 2 runs I do a front D on the wall ride. Don't think anything of it, like the backside of it, at all. And the third run, a parent pulls out a video camera and is like, "Oh, I'm gonna film this. Like, do that again. It was really sick." I was like, "All right." And in my mind, I'm going up to the wall ride and I'm thinking, "All right, I'm gonna go a little faster. I'm gonna ollie a little harder. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
someone's filming. I'm gonna really juice this one.
I'm gonna make some more
Make
noise."
sure you're decking out that
Yeah.
wall ride,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And I want people to see it and be like, "That was gnarly," you know? Like, I want to do shit that's fucking gnarly.
Yeah, you're pushing your ride.
I like it, you know? I just like making noises and like fucking the snowboard up. It feels good to break one or like break an edge or like hear it crack, you know? And so, like, I'm like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "I'm gonna do this again." And I go do it. This is like 10 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, I already did it twice. I'm going to do it a third time. Fucking slip out. Immediately look to where I'm landing. And in the matter of a half a second, I was like, this is going to hurt so fucking bad. Because it was 2 sheets of plywood, which are 4 feet each. It's 8 feet. And then a tiny little piece on top that was like this. And then the tube. And so it was like a total of like probably 11 feet.
11, 12 foot fall.
11, 12 feet
ice.
fall. And then the backside of the wall ride, it's like fucking park crew is back there smoking weed or fucking chilling, just like back there with their rake, like making it so flat and smooth, you know? Like you could fucking spin a top. It was so hard. Like you could just like, it was fucking like an ice rink, like hard concrete.
It was hard packed flat
Bro,
behind it.
It was fucked. So as soon as I fall off the back wall ride and I commit to the fall, my legs kicked the top of the wall ride, which fucking propelled me into the ground. And as soon as I hit, I flipped over to my stomach and I couldn't get up. And I realized, like, holy fuck, I fucked up bad. And it took me like probably a whole minute to get my air back. And the person filming immediately stopped filming because I was like,
They could tell you're fucked.
oh, I was fucked. And the kids, you know, watched their fucking coach like die. So that's not cool.
Are we getting home?
That's not cool either. Exactly. And like, it took like 8 ski. I'm a big dude for a snowboarder. I'm 300 pounds, 290 pounds.
That's some mass
So-
falling from 12 feet.
Totally. So
Physics equation.
it took like all these ski patrollers to get me out from behind the wall ride. They get me into the skid,
You couldn't
right?
stand up at all. Like
No.
your back was broken.
Fuck no. I could not even roll over. They rolled me over, and that's when I started to cry because I was like, how long is my life going to fucking be like this? You know, like how long am I going to be in this level of pain? Immediately, I'm thinking about motorcycle riding, fucking dirt bikes, snowboarding, baseball, fucking just all the playing. I love playing, you know. I like playing
Yeah, you have
outside
an active
and
life.
I like going on walks. I got a border collie black lab that requires a shitload of energy. I like going and doing. So immediately I was like, wow, I'm so grateful for all those years of like good health. And so they put me in the skid and they take me over to the medical area, right? Well, the flap, right when they leave, the flap on the snowmobile, like, or the flap they put on my face pulls off, and the slush from the snowmobile is just like filling my face, right? And all I could think is like, I wasn't even mad or sad or nothing. And I get to the clinic and they're like, dude, like, can you breathe? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, my fucking back's broken. Like,
I'm just taking it as it comes at this point.
like, I don't care, man. And also, I can't grab it because they have me strapped to a board with my arms and my head's strapped down, you know?
They probably can't hear you if you
what did
yell
the-
with the.
So,
What did the injury end up being?
so I broke 8 vertebrae.
Holy shit.
Luckily, my back was strong enough to where I didn't dislodge any bones, but I
Which
broke.
that's what would have severed like spinal cord.
Right,
caused
right. And
paralysis.
I was at the hospital for like 8 hours.
Did you get ambulanced off the mountain?
I got ambulanced off the mountain. I got taken to OHSU, and every room was occupied, so they put me in the hallway, and my family shows up, and at this point, you know, I got really good feeling in my toes. I got good feeling in my hands. I can move my neck around, but like, could I lift my chest up and like get up out of bed? No, like couldn't even move. Could barely, like, breathing hurt. You know.
You had all your nerves still, but your body was like, you're not moving.
No, you're not going to move. And so they take me in and they get me, they do like an MR, they do some like CAT scans, some MRIs, and they come back to me. It's like 10:30 at night. And my friend Amanda, she came all the way out from Bend, and she helped me that night out when I was getting out of the hospital. I kept joking to her and my mom and my sister that I was going to walk out of there. And they're like, you're not fucking walking anywhere. I was like, I'm going to walk out of here. Like, I feel strong in my legs. Like, I'm going to fucking walk out of here. Well, and I was making jokes, you know. I'm not really thinking I'm going to walk out of there, but making jokes. Well, the lady comes in and she goes, hey, I need you to get to your feet so we can scan you again And she goes, whether it's going to take all of us or whatever, like, we need to get you to your feet. Otherwise, you're going to stay here until you can get to your feet. So you're going to need to do physical therapy, and you're going to be staying here overnight. When she said that, I was like,
That's a motivator.
yeah, I was like, fuck that. And so she took me back to the x-ray room, and this little girl takes me back there. She's like 125 pounds, like super tiny and small. And at this point, I'm so irritated and in so much pain still, to where I have like little patience left. And granted, I probably sounded like an asshole, but I was like, what the fuck are they thinking sending you back here trying to get 300-pound man up off a bed, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I tell her to bring me over to this metal bar next to the x-ray machine. And I'm like, all right, on the count of 3, I'm going to have you push up on the back of my hospital bed. And I was like, I'm going to grab onto this bar and lift myself up. And so we worked the hospital bed up and got it like up to where it was pretty vertical. And then I grabbed onto that fucking bar with both my hands. And it took every fucking inch of my being to fucking stand on my feet. But because of snowboarding and skating, I have a really strong lower back and like leg muscles. And so instantly I could compensate using like my glutes and my legs. Mm-hmm. And I was able to put like no pressure on my back if I had like 3 points of contact.
Yeah, so you're like your balance in your lower half was held by your lower muscles,
Yes.
and then your kind of
Yes.
your torso is being held up by your arms,
Yes.
and the abs and back muscles, no engagement, just like
Exactly.
just hanging there.
Exactly. And the lady's like, holy shit, like that was super cool. Like,
This is one day, the
this
same
is the
day as
same
the
day,
injury.
same
Holy
day.
Shit.
So I get up, I get my CAT scans done, or I get my x-rays done, and then I get put back into the bed, which was so rough.
That's crazy that they did that.
Oh, it was insane.
That's so crazy.
And then I get back in the bed, and she comes out, and she's like, hey, you know, like, if I get you a walker, like, would that work? And, like, can you get out of here? I was like, yeah, if that's what's going to get me home, yeah, I'll take a walker. Well, funny thing is my sister broke her back, like, 2 years prior, right? So she lives in a single-level home. She has this couch that she bought when she did break her back. So it, like, literally puts you in the couch and gets you up out of the couch. And she had a bidet. So I went there, and I had just moved into my own house, and I had kind of taken on this bunch of responsibility. Mm-hmm. And I had a total monthly payout of my personal bills that were around $2,100 a month on the low side, and like $2,300 a month on the high side. Mm-hmm. And when I got hurt, I had like $75 in my account. So I was like really fucked.
Yeah.
And like without the snowboard community and like Andy starting that GoFundMe, I would have lost my house. I wouldn't have been able to like, I did 36 visits of physical therapy. I went for 12 weeks straight. I did physical therapy 3 days a week, and then I swam 2 days a week.
Damn.
The first 4 weeks of physical therapy were the hardest. That was the other hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It was super painful, and it was really hard to like, your nerves in your back are just so like sensitive. And sitting around for as long as I did, I'm a big dude already, and my stature just doesn't do well when I'm just sitting around. And I gained, I think, like 4 pants sizes in the matter of like 5 months.
It happens fast if you come back from an injury and you're not
Totally.
able to get active.
Totally. And so now I'm down 6 pants sizes from when I first got hurt.
Fuck yeah.
And I went snowboarding for the first time. I went once this summer, one day, and I only went and rode for a couple hours, and like I had fatigue right where I got injured after I was done.
It was like 4 or 5 months after the injury?
Yeah. No, it was, I got injured in February, so it was February, March, April, May, June, July. It was the end of July,
Like
so it was
6 months, yeah.
end of 6 months. I went up one day, and so
That probably felt good,
it
though.
did.
To
It did.
kind of be
It
back
was
at
really,
that moment.
It was really fun. And then I went up again like a month ago, and I went and rode with a couple friends. It was like the perfect scenario day, and I just like didn't really care about paying for a ticket or nothing. I was like, I'm just gonna go. Like, I just know it's gonna be a good day up there. There was zero wind. It was 46 degrees and sunny with no clouds in the sky. And I had a couple buddies that were there that day: Dan Betty, Jordan Finney, Shane Tiano, Max. What's that kid? I forget his last name. He's like from here. He drives like a big diesel truck.
Steed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sick snowboarder. Freaking, I had the sickest day with those guys. I went and like, I did a couple moves. Like I did a rope ollie that was like pretty big, and it was kind of one of those things where I don't ever want to slam like I did ever again, but also like I don't want to be afraid of snowboarding because like snowboarding's always been
It'll go away once you.
You got it, but
I
yeah,
mean,
that
I've never
first
had
time
anything
you
like that,
test
but
that
good.
your abilities is
Yes.
scary, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it takes
And
a couple
so-
seasons to let fall to the back of your mind, you know.
Totally. And I truly, out of snowboarding since I was 6 years old, that was the worst slam I've ever taken. I don't wish that upon anyone. And I just fell, I think, the most perfect fall to do what I did. And I think I could have broke my arm. I could have broke a lot more shit if I put anything down besides my taking it to the back.
Well, we're happy you're
Are you
okay.
are you feeling 100% now or 90%?
And that's where it's like I went
What do you think?
snowboarding
Yeah.
and I was trying to do shit. Like I was like I said, I was just trying to stomp fear in the face, you know? And I was like trying to do tricks and I was putting stuff down to the feet. I didn't really crash at all, which felt really good. Got home that night, right where I've been injured is where it hurt.
Yeah.
And it's all like sciatic nerve and like nerve damage at this point. And so the last 3 weeks, I've actually been focusing because it's continued to get worse after that day. And I'd be sitting in my tow truck driving somewhere and it's like, holy shit, I about need to get out and like stretch and like work this nerve out before I even can sit back down.
I imagine that doesn't help. Like anytime
No.
I've been on, you know, if you're
No,
spending
it
all day in
doesn't
the
help.
car, it definitely.
No. And so I've been doing Pilates and yoga the last
Fuck
3
yeah.
weeks.
Respect. That's a
and
superpower.
Doing like calisthenics essentially. And it's been all like lower back and like hip mobility and just trying to like strengthen and like I want to be good again, you know? And I want to feel good and like have confidence in my body to go do some shit again, and I'll never take my health for granted again.
Fuck yeah. Well, what
And I have insurance now.
you
so.
spent time in the camp bubble. What does that Hanley dude say? Control your controllables. You know, so you're doing a good job of controlling your controllables
Yeah.
and taking care of everything you can.
Hanley's a
and-
smart guy.
Yeah, that'll get you into where you need to be. Fucking respect, dude. Way to come back. Everyone likes
Thanks,
a comeback
man.
story. We're
Thanks.
happy to see you back on board, and that was terrifying to witness. And shout out to Andy
I
for
just-
making sure that you're taken care of.
I just want to
during
say,
that
yeah,
time.
the community, the way they pulled up for me,
It's inspiring.
I'll
to
never
see.
be able
We
to
take care
like
of each
repay
other.
my friends for that. Like Brandon Sorrell raised a bunch of money for me. Bob Abrams raised a bunch of money. All my friends raised a bunch of money by sharing and doing all the stuff, and I could just never thank all my friends enough for like the ability to like, get better, really.
Fuck yeah.
And if I didn't have that, like I said, I would have lost my house and all my shit that I had like been working towards. And ignorance is a bliss until it's fucking you break your back and you're like, holy shit, I'm
I only got $75.
so only got $75 to like fucking and
do we
like
do now?
Yeah, literally like, oh shit, man.
Yeah.
So
Life finds a way.
Those
so
injuries.
there we go.
totally.
Did you have health insurance?
I had no health insurance.
But,
Zero health insurance.
Do you still have medical bills? Or
No.
Oregon Health Plan comes in and covers in that
The-
scenario a little bit.
Actually, Liberty Mutual for We Are Camp,
Okay.
High Cascade took care of it.
Fuck yeah.
I was
thank you,
at
Cam.
work.
you
okay.
were working, yeah.
I was at work.
Were you able
when
to
it
get
happened.
any
That's
kind of
insane because
They-
I have sat in so many meetings at camp specifically about that.
Yeah.
And
No, they took
telling
care
us,
of it,
you know,
and they
we've
were.
had lots of different scenarios go
I mean,
different
as
ways.
they should. You were
It was
working,
great,
right?
you know.
Yeah,
and
it's-
well, it's
it's-
But
funny.
they always try to
There's a
weasel
gray
out of
area
that stuff.
that's like, did you have to be the one that?
And I don't
did
know
that?
if they
you know
did.
What I mean,
I don't know if they did.
but
try
that's
to
good that
weasel-
they did that because, like, you
I
know,
don't
that's
think they
what
tried
you
to
do as
weasel
a
out of
good-natured
it.
person,
But like,
if you can.
they're so busy there, and I feel like they're understaffed at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as much as they wanted to like keep in Super G and like those guys were keeping tabs on me and stuff, but then it was funny, like the ball kept getting dropped and by everybody, and as far as like Liberty Mutual goes, like the ball just kept getting dropped on their side. I'd call them and it was like, holy shit, like, so they took care of like the medical stuff, and then the GoFundMe helped with like literally like 8 months of recovery. So
Yeah.
I went back to work. I took a job that is pretty light work. Some might not think it's light, but tow trucking's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a giant toy. Mm-hmm. It's got levers and shit that does all the hard work for you.
It seems appropriate to see you driving around in a truck with flames and chrome. You've got flames and chrome kind of vibes. So
I literally look at that truck and like, I love that truck. It's sick. They call it Wonder Woman actually.
appropriate.
And they call me Super Cam in it, which is hilarious.
Well, Super Cam back from the back injury, doing good. Well, for time's sake, let's make sure we got the rest of the questions handled here. Then I want to get in some upcoming event news. But board over brains, Cam Weeg, doing good, coming back from his back injury. You're gonna see him on hill this winter.
Yep.
Out in the community.
I'm gonna get out there this spring.
Yeah.
Springtime's the best time.
Springtime, and then
I'm
at
at
the
the
skate
point,
park.
too.
That's
I've
the
been fun
final
skating, too.
push on healing an injury.
I want to see that
is getting
kickflip
back out
landed.
there.
Yeah. Yep.
I saw you trying some.
Who
Yeah,
else wrote
yeah,
in?
yeah.
We got Robert Solario said,
Oh,
"Why
okay.
is Cam so cool?" We ain't got to answer that. Everyone knows why Cam's so cool. Chris Ing wants to know, when does the next video come out? You got any other video? Do you have any desire to make any other videos?
So low key, I have a video edited. I've been editing it since 2019. It's 24 minutes long. I've thought about putting it on the internet. And Jake Price, he's like a big inspiration for me. He actually filmed that December video, and he's from Bend. He did a video a couple years ago that was like, I forget what it was called, because the whole premise of the video was it's never going to be online, so you have to come to these premieres to see the video.
Okay.
And it's straight up just like him and his friends, but it's like a lifetime of filming and boarding. And then it was also other clips of like his favorite clips he's ever seen. And he made like this compilation video, and it was like the sickest thing ever. And I just thought that concept was really cool. And
So you got one of those.
I got one
for
of
all
those
the hood homies.
for all the hood homies, but it's like got people from like all over the country in it.
Put it out. Let's
And
see it.
it's got like Drayden Gardner and Kyle Schaefer and Twan and Lenny Mazzotti and just like a bunch of fun people in it, Charlie Mayforth, Dimitri Bales, Jada Forge, Jagger Heckman, Taylor Ryman. Riley Tardif has like a full part in it.
Okay, yeah, you gotta put that out there.
No, it's gonna,
You heard it here first.
it's gonna
folks.
hit the
Yeah,
internet here
we
soon.
need
Do
that
we have a
video.
title?
The title, that's the problem, I think, is like, and I'm sorry I'm making everybody wait for this, but like, the title is like what I've struggled with, and then the whole video is edited, and I need to do the credits. And
Just go creditless.
I know, right?
No
No credits.
No one reads it.
No one gets credit.
I need that video and then the remix of Corey Caswell's part from Extreme Home Video.
Oh,
That
Where
shit-
is Corey
that
Kaz
shit was
at now?
hard.
I know he was
Corey
grooming.
Kaz is blue collar as it gets.
He was grooming.
He's from.
He's still
Timberline for a
grooming,
while.
right?
Where's he grooming at now, though?
He's
Timberline.
grooming, but he also
Is he still at T-Line?
I think so.
Timberline. No, he's still at
Him and
Timberline.
Casey Tratz, man.
I think
Best-
Will was working at
Some of the
Meadows
best
now.
riders on the mountain, probably the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
riders on the mountain, and you don't see them.
Yeah.
Because they are grooming
Yeah.
at night, and then I imagine they get their riding in on the fringes.
Corey actually, so last year he went out to Cannonsburg and he built some features for them, and then they kind of maintained it.
Okay.
And then
That must have been what I was seeing.
I think he's going out there again this season sometime. I don't want to speak for
I think he
Corey.
really liked doing that too.
Yeah, I think he really liked doing that because he got some freedom, like to design stuff that he wanted to design. And I feel like if,
It probably does feel like they've been mowing the same lawn for 10 years.
well, not even
Which
that. I think
there's
if they
good to that,
gave
too.
Corey like freedom in the parks to build, then we would probably have better parks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
So-
see how that could yeah. He would do great.
And Jacob,
Well, we'll have to have him on and
Yeah.
get firsthand from them.
yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, what else do we have for questions from Cam? Chocolate Banana said, thanks for some of the most ripping video premieres. Skyway was all time.
We packed some people in there.
Those Skyway premieres were
here's a
sick.
good one. We can end on. The Skyway premiere was sick. Not to be skipped
No,
over.
no,
That was all time. But Dylan Halverson, I believe Holverson. Thank you. Said, "What's your gnarliest or best Sturgis story?"
All right, so we'll end with that one, I guess.
Yeah.
So I had done a ride earlier that summer that I went to Sturgis with Jordan Finney, and we went out for 16 days, and we hit 10 states, and it was like super dope. And like, how could you ever top a trip like that, right? Mm-hmm. We went to like
looked all time.
We went to like 9 national parks, and like I'm constantly seeing stuff on the Discovery Channel or like some advertising of some dreamy like best motorcycle road in the country. Like Jordan and I rode all of those, and it was, we just talked about it the other day. We want to do it again. Well,
you make me want to have a bike. I grew up around bikers. My family, I have some Hells Angels in the family on some friends, and I got that version of it, which was not attractive to me. But your guys' like Easy Rider version of it seems so sick.
It's really fun. It's like you put like your essentials on this like iron horse, and then you're like,
yeah,
and you just fucking rip through the desert, and you could be going down at, like, I was in Arizona going down this mountain at like 120 miles an hour, like fully packed, and my bike was so smooth and like balanced, and I do a lot of preventative maintenance, so my stuff stays good and tight. But it was just at that, like, that was one of those moments where I was like, holy shit, this is so cool, that you can just like be on something and so vulnerable and die in like a half a second, but like you're on this like thin rail just like hauling ass. And I did that trip, and then when I came back, my friend Gary, he's like 62 years old. He's been to Sturgis like 14 times. He's a fucking sick gangster. Like, he goes by Super G, and he's painted hot rods for like 30 years, right? He's painted Dalton Vittorez's some of Dalton's cars.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just a cool like old homie that's like in the community, and he grew up snowboarding and doing all that shit too. So we just like, he's my buddy that's 62, and we can go over there. We go out to breakfast at least like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And he asked me, Cam, I don't know how many more times I'm going to go to Sturgis, and I have this feeling that I just need to take you. I was like, all right. So I go with him and his buddy Danger.
That's so tight.
I go with him and his buddy named Danger. His buddy's name is Danger, and it was us three going to Sturgis. We did the ride in 2 days, and when we get to Sturgis, right, fucking, dude, there's like 800,000 motorcyclists there, and it's just crazy because there's so much respect at Sturgis, and the whole stigma of Sturgis is it's just funny.
It's not like the wild time you pictured. It's like everyone kind of behaving themselves because there is this social pecking order that's like taking place.
Exactly.
There, and like mutual respect on respect kind of thing.
Yeah, and so
it's probably like back in the 50s or 60s. It's probably fucking insane.
And so for an example, like there's this thing called Titty Tuesday, and everybody. So Sturgis is like this little town, and the reason Sturgis Week is fun is because everything outside of Sturgis is a cool ride to this thing, like through the Black Hills or through Needles Highway, or going out to Backwood, which is like an old cowboy western town. There's just all these cool places you go to. Well, on Tuesday you ride out to this bar in Montana. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's only open for 2 days a year, and it's open for Titty Tuesday and the day before they get ready. So you go there, and there's like all these chicks with their tops off, and it's just fucking crazy because there's nobody's like disrespecting anybody, and there's literally 800,000 people there. And granted, I'm sure I'm not hearing every little bit from everybody, but for the general consensus, and when you're walking around, all those people are someone's daughter, someone's wife, someone's girlfriend. There's so much respect at the event to where it's like, it's not a big deal, and it's just fun as hell because it's like motorcycles and titties and fucking just debauchery.
Part of that culture.
It's part of the culture. And then at the same time, it's like they're the most respectful people ever, and like they're not out there to like be weird or do stupid shit, you know? And then it's like every day you wake up at 7 in the morning and you ride out to this little church and you pay like $5 and eat breakfast, like donation system. And it's all because Gary knew where to go. And so we show up to Sturgis and we're like going down back alleyways. He's like, this is how we go through town. And he's like showing me all the back ways to get to everything. And we show up to the Full Throttle and he looks at me and he goes, whatever you do, stay on my ass. Don't lose me. I was like, all right. So we show up to the Full Throttle, and which is a camping area that you camp at. And there's like thousands of people camping there, right? It's the biggest biker bar in the world. And so we fucking get to the entrance, and instead of stopping and saying what up to the entrance dude and like getting tickets and all that, we literally just ride by. And then we go to this like corner of the property that's on a lake looking over this thing called Beartooth Mountain, I think it's called. And it's really beautiful. And we're in like this luscious grass and we're camping for free. And all these other people have paid like $350 to be there, right?
I thought everyone just does that. It's part of like Sturgis things.
No.
You just blow by. Okay.
No. And then so like we slip in and Gary right away figures out that the bracelets are like orange, like fucking like pool bracelets, you know? Well, he just goes over to the trash can, rips off the bands from trash bags, and then we just tie orange trash bag ribbons around our wrists.
Okay, it looks
and we
close
spent
enough.
the whole week in Sturgis at Full Throttle for free. Like every night we'd come back to the Full Throttle.
Trash bag band.
Yeah, and the owner of the Full Throttle, he knows Gary, and he came over and was like, so glad you guys come back every year. You guys are always a pleasure to have around. And like, it's so cool. 'Cause
Little does he know.
he has like an entourage of, no, I think he does know. And I think he makes so much money. He just like doesn't give a shit
Yeah, he just
that
wants the
Gary
homies.
and like his group of homies are like doing their thing, you know?
Yeah.
And like, we spend money at the bar and like do all the other things. So
Fuck yeah. Sneaking into Sturgis.
Free camping.
free
That's
camping, dude. So
Respect.
How many times have you gone there? Just once?
I've just gone to Sturgis one time.
At one time, okay.
We're going back. The reason we went to that Sturgis is because it was the 120th of Harley Davidson.
Okay.
And then the reason I'm going back this year is it's the 85th year, so it's a big year to go
Okay.
back.
Sick.
You always want to go back for like the anniversary.
Yeah, one
years.
of the
5
big
or 10
ones.
years
Yeah,
or something.
5 or 10
yeah,
years, or even like the 87s for some reason are pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
Is that a
kinda
Harley
like-
number or something?
I don't
or-
know.
Okay.
It's just I feel like 87 or
Probably 81, I would imagine.
81 or well, and what's crazy is my grandma, she's like 1 year younger than Sturgis.
Oh,
So it's
that's
like
fun.
always easy to
That's
remember.
easy math
Uh-huh.
for you, yeah.
Yeah, always easy to remember. I always let her know that. I'm like, do you know you're 1 year younger than Sturgis Rally? She's like, I had no idea.
Fuck yeah.
You know.
Well, what time are we looking at here? I want to see if we can get this wrapped up before Minty comes in to open the shop
Before he
up.
comes, knocks the camera
Yeah.
over.
Much love, Minty.
It's 11:32.
Oh, we're doing
I think
good.
we're chilling.
Perfect timing. All right. Well, thank you for letting us hound you, Cam, and thanks for coming in here super last minute. We had some other guests lined up, and scheduling wise wasn't coming through. I was like, you know what?
They got
I
cold
know
feet.
I know Cam's down, and I know we've been wanting to do it anyway. So now's the time. Let's get you in here. And we're gonna have to have you back as a regular sit-in for sure. 'Cause
Oh, that'd be fun.
We have so much time. You guys have so much.
We got a fourth
like,
mic,
years
right?
together. Like, yeah,
we'll
there's.
have to
We'll have to get you back on here.
come
You're-
in and grill one of the other homies.
it's not hard to get you talking about it. But one thing before we wrap this up, and one of the reasons why we had to finally hang our boots up and let them dry for a day and get in here and to record is we have the Die Gubby Scum King of the Mountain Challenge coming up. So
This is gonna be sick.
it's going to be pretty awesome. If you guys haven't heard or you've been living under a rock, it's pretty much like King of the Road on the mountain is I think the vision that Lex has for it. He's put together a book that we're all gonna let me read what we got written down for it. It's while I'm figuring that out, Cam, do you believe in silent rock?
So
And if so, why?
funny story. From basically the age of like 24,
I almost forgot
25
to ask that.
to like 27 or no, probably like 29, I called it metal rock. And I was being defiant. And every time I went through it, I would blare metal. And I would flip it off and say fuck you. And then
Were you having
honestly,
good days on hill at that point?
I was, and I kept, and everything was going good. And then I feel like a trigger switch, and then
Stored
for
it all
some
up for the
reason I
back
started
injury.
to respect it again. And then now I'm back to a point of respecting it again. But there was a point in my mid-20s, like to later 20s, where I was like all about disrespecting that rock for some reason. And I still, to this day, I want to get a clip. I want to ride down the side of it, and I want someone to zoom in, and I want to go like this. Shh. And then I want to ride down the side of it. So
That'd be
fucking
sick.
bad.
Yeah.
In black and white to like some fucking Black Sabbath or
You
something.
don't really ever see anyone ride Silent Rock, but I think it's doable.
That's what I mean. It'd be a funny
Tim
clip.
Wendell gapping it.
Well,
you know?
yeah.
Oh,
Besides
yeah.
that,
The
besides,
Tim Wendell gap.
besides that,
Classic.
Well, we're waiting.
so
for the
you
footage.
do turn the music off at Silent Rock.
I do turn
currently.
it off
Yeah.
now. I'm back to
There
turning
was a
off
3
the
or
music.
4 year period where you didn't.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'd flip it off and yell at it. And
On record. All right. DGS, King of the Mountain 2025. We are going to be meeting Tuesday, February 25th at 9:30 a.m. at the OT Hut in Govey. It's going to be teams of 3 or 4. The original idea was it was going to be teams of 3 plus a filmer. I've messaged Lex, aka Colin, been like, "What are we doing here? Is it what is this?" And he's like, "Let's just call it teams of 4,
Yeah.
up to 4 with a filmer." You get 1 book per team, so don't lose it. You're only getting one of these things, and everyone gets 12 hours to try to finish the book. He does have a prize if you finish the whole book. I don't think it's going to be likely. There's some pretty creative.
I read some stuff
yeah,
on
there's
there.
Some pretty
It's
creative
pretty
events.
harebrained.
I
Some
don't
of the
think they're
stuff
all getting checked
is
off.
pretty harebrained, and I'm here for it. And that's kind of like the silliness of snowboarding and skiing,
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. It's is this a ski and snowboard event?
Yeah, it's going to be teams. We don't want the teams to blend, not because we're like anti-ski, just for the frickin' logistics sake to make it easier.
Oh,
it's
so it
like
needs to be all ski or all
ski
snowboard?
or all snowboard.
Okay.
Is what
That's
we're
good to
looking
know.
for. Yeah,
That's good to know.
Yeah, we're trying and make it like that. I'm sure message him if you have further questions. You have to get every challenge on film. We're gonna have 2 weeks after you get 12 hours to do it. We're gonna be at 9:30. The event stops at 10, so you have 12 hours to produce whatever you're gonna produce, and then you get 2 weeks to put the edit together. We want it to be no more than 5 minutes if you can help it.
2 weeks to put an edit together.
We got
Come
jobs.
on.
It's gonna be a lot of
We got
footage.
jobs. We're not everyone's on the
Come
filmer
on.
What a
level that you guys are. It's all going to be announced on March 24th, or no, excuse me, March 29th is going to be the awards party.
You got a one challenge you can leak us on the podcast?
Yeah, we got some leaks. So we got prize categories. The categories are going to be for most points on a team, so the team that gets the most points, the best snowboard edit overall, the best ski edit overall, best women's edit, least amount of points. So we're gonna have a loser gets an award.
That's cool.
Best bail. We'll have an MVP for the entire day, and I'm throwing it out there. I think we need to have a best trick.
Yeah, just like a best overall.
Yeah. So it's you gotta get your teams. It's gonna be point based. Here's an example for you, and
Yeah.
these are just examples. I was able to collaborate a little bit with them on what we're gonna be doing.
Do you have a hood report challenge?
No, Lex is just doing this. So we should have had. Yeah, you guys subscribe to the Hood Report. We're putting that one in there. You have to subscribe to the Hood Report on YouTube.
If you subscribe, you get 1 point.
Mandatory. You get 1 point. You have to be subscribed. So tricks, and this is for everybody. You don't have to be like someone who's up there like doing the best riding to win. It's just to get everyone out to come do it. So there's
I think that's
easy
what I love about
categories.
this event so much is like kind of like years ago Chris Moore did the habitual party wave event at Ski Bowl, and that was like an event where like the community really showed up for that event.
Yeah, that
and,
was a sick event.
it was really fun. The good camaraderie of it all was hilarious, and I feel like Govey Scum really taps into like that energy of the community and
Yeah.
like all right guys, let's get together and like have a good time.
Well,
and
he's from Seattle area, and there's like the all city showdown that goes down up there, and I think he wants it to be kind of that vibe where it's like one day where it's just chaos of teams of 4 just like running around the mountain, like doing all this hectic stuff. There's trick-based challenges, easy, medium, hard, and extreme categories. Example, the easy one would be like board slide any way on a box. Everyone's
Easy,
kind of
yeah, right.
we can do that. Medium would be let's take that, let's do a front board on a down rail. The hard would be backside lip on a down rail, and the extreme would be like back lip through the double kink. or something, you know, as an example.
I'm gonna leak my challenge
All right,
for
what do you got?
Church. It was go sideways through the Best Western Rail. You think anyone's got it?
shit.
Oh my gosh.
Think
I-
anyone's got that?
I looked at it 2 days ago.
Levi might be able to do it.
Yeah.
What's it looking like?
It's I was just checking to see how buried it was because I knew it was going to be one of the challenges.
Are you gonna
It's
step?
accessible. You could get there.
It's backside.
Should we
I'm
go
not
set
going
it up for
sideways
the
on it.
people? Like the day before the event goes.
That
Like,
We only got 12 hours.
might be
That
down.
might be
Go
like a
prep
3-day
it.
battle.
I'm down to help prep that if you want to prep that.
Yeah, so that's one of the
I
things.
think I'm on Team Hood Report podcast.
Oh,
there it
somehow.
is.
I think I'm
There it
getting
is.
roped-
So
I
we-
think I'm getting roped into this.
I've been messaging. Lex and I both were messaging the group chat, and we're
Maybe
like,
I
all
could
right,
pull
so
some
we're doing
people out of retirement.
we're
for
doing
this.
Team Hood
yeah,
Report,
you gotta
right?
put together a team.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta do a board over brains team.
That would be awesome.
And we both have been messaging Leif, and it's been radio silence on Leif's end. He'll message us back about other messages, but if he's on
He's
Team Hood
thinking
Report,
about it,
it's
dude.
been
He's a
ghosts.
thinker.
Yeah, so
He's
I'm
a
like,
thinker.
and other people
Let the
have been
man
hitting
cook.
A lot
us
of
up.
commitment, guys.
Let the man cook.
There's other people who have been hitting us up wanting to get on for Team
Oh,
Hood
really?
Report. Yeah, and
Maybe
I've been,
I want my own team.
Well, I got them.
should.
I've just been
You
liking
should.
the messages because I'm like,
All right,
I don't know. I don't know if we have
who's
an
my
opening.
fill-in?
You're on the team.
Oh,
So
Oh, man.
we can't
Damn
do
it.
team Hood Report, and it's like me and the guest or the host that's sometimes here. You know.
Hey, and also we kind of have an advantage, I think, because we kind of know some of the challenges.
Yeah, we know
right?
some of them.
yeah.
I
I might
might.
be cheating.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying hard
What
enough.
if-
So I am going to be going out the day beforehand and staging some
Setting- What
if
lifts
this-
and things.
I guess, yeah, your passion. You want to be.
Are
in
you
this
free
thing,
on
right?
Tuesday, Cam?
I was gonna say,
Are you gonna go?
What do you guys should just grab one of these and like do some.
Just go around
some
and get everybody? Yeah, no, that
just
would be
some
great.
stand shit where you go around and like interview people and be like, "How's it going?" Like,
I wanted to,
where are you at? How
I
many
wanted to
challenges
bring
you
the
got?
mics up for the wild mic rope tow.
Yeah.
It just schedule wise didn't let, but yeah, it's gonna be a freaking kick-ass time.
Now, we
So-
should probably participate, and that way we can build the stoke that way.
Yeah, it's
That
gonna be
too.
fun.
Yeah.
Plus, when else are you gonna get that? You know, I didn't
Yeah.
think I was gonna be able to do this at this age. You know, it's such a good
The
time.
last King of the Mountain we had, Corey Caswell is the King of the Mountain currently from Ski Bowl.
Yeah.
I believe he still is.
He has a
He'll
crown.
probably still be, but
He has a crown and this giant check that says King of the Mountain on it. It's the
Fuck
sickest
yeah.
claim. It's
that's
hilarious.
so awesome. So
It's
there's
funny.
so there's not only just trick challenges. There's in true King of the Road spirit. There's other challenges as well. Some miscellaneous ones. He says you gotta make some s'mores on the Phlox fire. You know, that's a nice PG challenge. That's
Hell yeah.
pretty mellow. That's good. Kick flipping snow boots.
Easy.
There's plenty of corn dog related challenge. I think one was like smoke a spliff through a corn dog.
Nice.
Dude, I can weirdly kickflip well with snowboard boots on.
Really?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
I've never done one.
I like he had Nat Geo category, which is like there's some log challenges.
Yeah,
rock
I saw
challenges
the
ones.
log.
There's a lot of there's a whole poop and pee category going
Nice.
on there. So again,
Whoa.
I don't think the whole book's
What's
getting down,
what's
but-
going to be your plan of attack, Donovan? Do you have
we do
you have
need to make
something
a
in
strategy.
mind
I don't
or
know,
what?
maybe an off-air strategy because I don't want to give it all away. But
Yeah,
I think
okay.
that I would encourage teams to get together to make a strategy. I think
Well, they
that
don't know
How
the
soon
list
can we pick
until
up this
day
book?
of, right?
How soon can we pick up the
9:30
book?
a.m. day of.
So yeah,
Okay.
we're
You
You gotta
cheating.
get there, but plan on probably going to multiple resorts. You know, you're probably gonna. I think there's some
There's 12 hours.
resort specific challenges,
Yeah.
like one's only for Meadows, only for Timberline, only for Ski Bowl.
Yeah.
But I think that the plan should probably be, I would suggest maybe going up, hitting Timberline, or this
You
is where I'm
really
gonna go. I'm
gotta
probably
be-
gonna go up, hit Timberline, maybe hit a side country jump, then maybe get some street stuff done while it's light out, and then maybe end it at the toe and just checking
Yeah.
off hanging points. And then maybe if you can, we'll get to the bar and do some bar challenges as well.
Are there some bar
Which is where I'm gonna
challenges?
need help.
Oh.
You know, we're gonna lean on each other here.
You know, I don't drink that often.
We got Lex.
But I
Yeah.
can drink.
Lex is our ringer.
Nice.
Our Charlie's ringer.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, you want, and that's another thing too. You want to really put some thought into the team that you build here because you want to cover each other's strengths and weaknesses. You know,
Right.
you don't want everyone just to be 3-point shooters.
Right.
You
Right.
gotta have some defense.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's where we're at for
Sounds
things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, you guys. It
Yeah.
was fun.
Anything else you guys want to throw out there before we wrap things up? Any other thank yous?
Thank you to everybody that I've made friends with in snowboarding and all the years of good times and lessons I've learned and I don't know. Snowboarding has taught me a lot, and the community is the reason, why I am who I am, really. I just want to say thank you to everybody in snowboarding.
Fuck yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Oh, dude, I almost forgot to say thank you for back in the day, Sandy Skate Fest, 2008, something like that, maybe 2009. It was the last year they did Sandy Skate Fest.
It was.
You were one of the guys working at the shop. You were one of the judges.
MC.
And it meant so much to me that the event happened and to be in it, because I viewed it as a little kid, and now it was probably the last year it's going to happen. And you came up to me as they were all like trying to figure out who got what, and you're like, I just want you to know I put in a good word for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah. And I got second. So
Yeah.
Thanks for making sure that
man.
This little kid from Estacada got a slap on the back from Northern. That meant a lot.
Yeah, no, dude, it was sick. I remember you coming out to the park before the
Dude,
event,
I trained.
and you were like practicing your run.
I was practicing.
But
for
like,
it.
what was cool was like, we were from an era of where like, it was just from passion, and like, I recognized that right away, and I just thought it was really cool that you were showing up and like.
Yeah, no one else really trained at that point.
There was a couple guys.
Yeah.
There was a couple guys doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
But those other couple guys too were the contenders in the event,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So like all of you guys were practicing your fun lines that you enjoyed, or things that separated you each from each other, and that part was sick, dude.
Not to make
Who got
but
first?
Thank you.
Robert Solorio.
Okay.
Or no.
Of course.
It was Robert or
I think
Justin.
I thought it was a guy from like a different shop that
It
came
might
from
have
somewhere else.
been.
I remember someone who was kickflip meloning, doing a
Yeah.
kickflip melon over the hip.
Oh, it was Mike Davis.
Oh, there we go.
It
Yeah.
was Michael Davis. And
R.I.P. Michael Davis.
R.I.P. Mike Davis.
Much love, man.
My dad was funny. Quick side story, side quest story. Michael Davis, his dad was really good friends with my dad, and Michael Davis taught me how to ollie and kickflip in the rain. Like he'd come over all the time, and we would just set up like pieces of wood and shit, and we literally learned a bunch of tricks together. And he was always like a step ahead of everybody. And we were both like obsessed with Birdhouse, and it was like honestly brought a tear to my eye later in life, because he went pro for Birdhouse.
Yeah.
And like Tony Hawk did a lot for Michael, and I wish he was still here.
Yeah, same heavy note to end on.
Yeah.
Michael, thanks for being a part of it. When I pass Silent Rock, one of the things that I do, I turn down the radio, and I feel like I'm kind of entering into this other realm on the other side of it, and I take a moment to say, what's up to everyone that isn't here that I wish I was going to go shred with. And he is one of the people that is
That's
on
beautiful.
the unfortunately longer and longer list every year. But yeah, much love. Thank you to everyone out there that's still there listening to this. We love you guys. I don't know, man. Are we rambling?
No.
It's hard to go from that to closing up an episode, but
Yeah. Sorry, guys, to drop that on you on the end over here.
it's all good. You know what? Here's the takeaway.
Heartwarming story.
Go shred with your
Slash
homies.
sad.
When you see your homies, tell them you love them.
That dude, I can't express that
Slap
enough.
a good high five.
Can't express that enough.
Well, thanks for coming in, Cam, and
Yeah.
thank you to everyone else out there that makes this community what it is. Thank you to Mike at BDK Board Shop. We didn't really get into how you and Cam came to be such good friends, but we'll have you back on here and we'll get into it more. Happy belated birthday to Mike.
Yeah,
It
we
was
should
his
have
birthday
you
yesterday.
and Mike on here.
That would be.
I think Mike has some
I'm
unfinished
just going to hit
stories from his
record and
episode,
just
too.
like walk away and let you guys
Mike
just
and I have
go.
some good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been to a lot of shows together, and one time we made T-shirts and made $1,800 in 2 days, selling
the Eclipse, the Eclipse t-shirts.
yes.
selling shirts on the
Yeah.
side of the road.
Hustling.
Like me and Mike had like done some little hustles together that are like genuine and like fun, and we've had happy customers. You know?
I bought one. Yeah, I think me and my mom bought
Yeah,
one.
you and
of
your
those
mom bought
shirts.
one.
Speaking of moms, this is my mom's 50th birthday.
Happy
So I
birthday.
got to
Happy
give her
birthday,
a
Mom.
shout out. Yeah.
Down as well.
Happy birthday, mom.
She's
Damn,
a
your
nice
mom's
lady.
young.
She
Yeah,
is
she
young.
is.
She had me very young. My mom was like 15 when I was born.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
we can get into that sometime. But
No.
The personals.
yep. All right, guys. Thank you all for listening. Shout outs to DGS Hood Girls Church, Mount Hood Mobile, BDK Friday, a record shop in Sandy, and to all of you guys out there listening, shoveling, making the resorts happen. Much love, and we will see you at the DGS King of the Mountain. Over and out from the Hood Report.